What's up and welcome back to KindaFunny's MCU in Review Rewatch. Of course, I am Tim Geddes and I am joined by the Texas Street Latino Heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globe-trotting, head-shotting, rootin' tootin', three-point shooting, Nitro Rifle from Twitch.tv. Andy, you're
fucking on it right now.
I'm on it right now, everybody. I'm feeling real good.
Incredible intro.
We also have the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Nick. Excited for this one. And it's Christmas in April. Joey Noel.
Hello.
Check the calendar. Time's going
It is. Time's going real fast. What I'm excited about for this is, since it's a rewatch for In Review, we're not re-ranking, we're not doing any of that. We're just having fun talking about one of our favorite films of all time,
and
Guardians of the Galaxy. Prepping for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the end of the James Gunn trilogy. But Joey, I'm excited to have you on this because you weren't here for the first go-around.
Correct.
And you're here now. And your hair, if I remember correctly, is the color that it is because of this movie.
I mean, yeah, these days it's like real purple and not that, but my fun hair journey started because I watched this movie and I was like, I love Gamora's hair and that's what I want. And I literally walked into a hair salon. I was like, I would like this.
Yeah.
And
walked out green.
why are you guys painting me? But yeah, so that's definitely like the origins of the Joey Fun hair story. But in watching this, I was like, do I grow my hair back out? Do I do this again?
Hey, you got a couple weeks for
Reason
three.
for the season, Joe. Reason for the season.
And rounding out the group today, it's very rare that we have guests on the rewatch, but I'm trying to make it happen a little bit more. Recently, we had Eric Voss from New Rockstars come to join us for the Ant-Man and the Wasp rewatch. But now, I'm extremely excited for the very first time to have MT from New Rockstars join us, a man that I've been promoting on this show as being a world record holder, unofficially, as the person that has watched this movie the most times in his life. Is that accurate, MT?
1,000%, and I'm not proud of it. It is an unhealthy habit that I've developed since like 2017, and like I've been trying to find this Easter egg for years now, and that's why I've been rewatching this movie. It's going through frame by frame and just making myself suffer. So like, thumbs up for me.
I love it. MT, your MCU breakdowns are some of the best content on the internet. If you guys aren't familiar, you should definitely go follow him over on Mastertainment on Twitter. Also check out New Rockstar's channel. Every day they're dropping amazing breakdown videos. But MT's in particular, I'm a major fan of. One of my favorite presenters, one of my favorite writers. Very clever, really good at finding all the stuff and also presenting it in an amazing way. But one of my favorite things you've done, MT, is the Marvel trigger theory, the MT theory here, where he has this whole science of how he breaks down the MCU via the use of color, where every color...
While mentally breaking down.
While mentally breaking down as well.
Also accurate, yes.
Yeah, but I really appreciate what you put into all this stuff. And like there's science behind it, which is really rad. So go check out the Marvel trigger theory video over on New Rockstars. But also, yeah, so we were talking about this a little bit, but the reason you've seen this movie so many times is James Gunn has been on record as recently as like 2 weeks ago saying there's still one big giant Easter egg in Guardians 1 that no one has found. And for the last couple of years, what have you been up to?
Just looking for that Easter egg, because like James Gunn said that like apparently I'm the closest one to finding the Easter egg so far. So like that has been torturous to my soul.
What a burden to put on yourself.
I know. And like I get so many messages from people like, so like what is it, MT? Like when are you gonna find it? I'm like, maybe sometime this century, who knows? But like, yeah, that's been my entire life's mission, is finding this egg. And when I do, I think I'll just disappear like Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope and just give up the ghost.
Nick, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask a question because there was one Easter egg that I noticed. Did you know that one of the guys in this played Ricky Bobby's best friend in Talladega Nights?
Oh wow,
You
that
might
may
want to
be
tweet
it.
at James Gunn, and maybe Nick just cracked the code.
Okay, I'll check that out. I don't know if you guys know there's some crossover there.
What I love about this, though, MT, is that you really work hard on this. And of course, in the beginning, it kind of started, I think I got it. But now every couple months, I'll see a tweet from you that's like, dropping my next Easter egg video tomorrow. I think I got the one. And then you'll tweet it at James Gunn, and like a day will go by to be like, sorry, MT, not this one, but good try. And then every couple months we get another one. It's just, it's really cool, man. So
Fun.
happy to have you.
One
I
of
like
these
the
days.
Tim. I like the idea of it being like government funded, like how Boston Dynamics is just making robots, and you're like, where are they getting that money for? How's MT being funded? Oh, he's just the government is like, you need to find this.
So let's get into it. Today we are this is Kind of Funny's in review, where each and every week we get together to rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. You could watch it on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com. You could also get it as a podcast by searching your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny in Review, and we'll be right there for you. If there's a franchise you love, a franchise you hate, chances are we've already covered it on this show. Hundreds of episodes of this show have happened, and hundreds more will happen. Right now, we are on our way to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Extremely excited for that. So, of course, that means next week we will be doing Guardians 2 as well. Very exciting times, because right after that, things go off the rails. And I don't have the calendar in front of me, so I'm not sure exactly what the rollout is. But pretty much starting with Guardians 3, every week is a new movie coming to theaters that we're going to have to rank and review against other franchises. So get hyped. It is movie season, everybody. The perfect time to go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to get the show ad-free and watch live as we record it, like so many beautiful people are right now. Dependable Madman, thank you for being here. Ryan Powell Higgins, of course, a classic. We know you so long and so well, and we appreciate you so very much. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money, but we'll talk to you about that later. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Tripod Plus Plus, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, Nathan Lamoth, and Al Tribesman. The best around. No one's ever going to keep you down. We're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, released on July 21st, 2014, making it the 10th project in the MCU.
That was it?
What a quaint little time,
That's
right?
weird.
It is really weird. It is the 4th out of 6th movie in Phase 2.
Yeah, I would have guessed it was like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 would be, I think, Infinity War.
Jesus.
Which is just wild to think of, like, how quickly these all kind of just started to ramp up. This film's the first MCU film to not have a kissing scene. Quill and Gamora almost kiss, but they don't. Fun fact for you, everybody.
She doesn't fall for his pelvic sorcery.
What a great, funny movie this is. A runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes. It was directed by James Gunn, the first MCU movie by him. Of course, now we know he's went on to do Guardians 2, Guardians 3, Guardians Holiday Special. On the DC side, he's done Peacemaker, The Suicide Squad, and now is about to run the DCU, and we're all extremely excited about that. James Gunn stated several times that Rocket was a big, if not the main reason he wanted to make this movie. In fact, when it was confirmed that the film was a hit, Gunn put a heartfelt thank you letter online specifically thanking everyone for letting a raccoon make them a little more human. You gotta love it.
That's nice.
And that scares me for Guardians 3. I'm so scared for our boy. All right?
Oh my god. I'm terrified for both Rocket and Kraglin. Like those two, I'm like, okay, let's please try to survive.
Yeah, please try your best, boys. This one was written by James Gunn and Nicole Perlman, the first woman to be credited for writing a Marvel screenplay. She also did the story credits she has credit for story on Captain Marvel and Detective Pikachu. Music was done by Tyler Bates. He has done a ton of stuff for Zack Snyder, like 300 and Sucker Punch. Did Halloween 1 and 2 with Rob Zombie, and also did the entire John Wick franchise.
Oh,
So,
shit.
Bringing the heat.
Yeah, Tyler
Guardians
Bates
1 and
doesn't
2.
miss.
Yeah, really good stuff here. Guardians 1 and 2 and the Hobbs and Shaw over on the Fast and Furious side.
Great main theme.
Oh, real strong,
Yeah.
real solid. And
We gotta have Tim. One day we gotta. This is a side. We gotta have Tim rank all the things.
I appreciate that. We should.
Because like MT, nobody impresses me more than Tim when we're like, we're fucking ass deep in a movie, and then Tim will be like, It's crazy they brought back that music motif. I'm like, dude, I don't notice any of this shit pop up. Like, I don't notice these random things pop up at certain moments. And he's like, oh yeah, remember so-and-so's arc? It's like, Tim, that show got canceled 10 years ago. What are you talking about?
It's because of Tim that I noticed when we were watching the Batman, the very understated Ave Maria that runs every fucking 5 seconds of that movie.
Exactly. And a fun little soundtrack fact here. The soundtrack album Awesome Mix Volume 1 reached #1 on the U.S.
So
Billboard
badass.
200
I still listen
chart.
to that. I still listen to that
it's
to this
good.
day.
We're about to get a new one, y'all.
know.
To
We're
this
about
day.
to get a Volume 3. It's the first film soundtrack ever to do so without any original music. It was also nominated for the 2015 Grammy Award for Best Soundtrack. The budget was just over $200 million. And a fun fact here, Bradley Cooper told Howard Stern that he was paid more for voicing Rocket in this movie than for starring in Silver Linings Playbook and The Hangover combined.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Even The Hangover.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, I
That
guess
is-
The Hangover.
that's
I
The
guess,
Hangover kind of made him.
yeah, but I feel like Hangover 2 is where you get the big paycheck.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kinda- Okay, that kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, it does. But he's just the voice in this. Because the motion capture actor is Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother. So wild stats there. Box office of $773.3 million, making it the third highest grossing film of 2014. And do you guys want to guess what the movies that beat it were? 2014. What grossed more money than Guardians 3?
Oh,
24.
Avengers 1?
That was
Oh,
2012.
in that year?
Yeah, in 2014.
Box office.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, I don't even know what. I mean, I'd have to. What was that 10 years
Number
ago?
2?
9 years ago.
Is it a Fast and Furious movie?
No, so Guardians had 772 mil. Coming in at 962 mil. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five.
What a,
Oh,
what a
fuck.
waste of
That was
money.
you.
Damn.
And at number
Wow.
one, with one
I'm
point,
so sorry, everyone that paid for that.
at number one with $1.1 billion made. Transformers: Age
Oh, go
of
fuck yourself.
Extinction.
That's
the
such
Mark Wahlberg
bullshit.
one, everybody.
Mark Wahlberg is a box office draw. We all know.
It's a Transformer.
Oh my god! I think I just found out Transformer.
Which
You
at
don't have to
the
make fun of him.
time
Just say it.
made it the 10th highest grossing film of all time.
Jesus.
That has changed
We,
now.
we deserve the meteorite that eventually kills and wipes us all
100%.
out. We deserve it.
In terms of awards, it was nominated for 2 awards at the 87th Academy Awards and received numerous other accolades. At the Oscars, it was nominated for Best Makeup and Hairstyling and Best Visual Effects, but it lost out to The Grand Budapest Hotel and Interstellar.
I mean, that's stiff competition.
Yeah.
That's
Hard
tough.
to take
That's
down
wrong.
Wes Anderson on.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I do want to get into a couple fun facts that I found, specifically aimed around our boy Vin Diesel. MT, we're big Fast and Furious fans over here, and we
Okay.
love the eccentricities of Vin
Yeah,
Diesel.
sure. He's an interesting guy.
You know, so we got a lot of fun facts about him that just made me
I
smile,
love it.
and I want to share that with y'all.
Can one of the facts be that he was walking around and being like, "Look, Meryl Streep taught me everything I know. Okay, you all need to listen to me. I'm a thespian."
Vin Diesel recorded all his lines in several different languages,
Many lines.
including Russian, Mandarin, Spanish, Portuguese, German, and French, so they could use his real voice in the film around the world. According to Vin Diesel, the voice of Groot, he recorded Groot's iconic line, "I am Groot," over 1,000 times in different languages.
Makes
I
sense.
fucking love that.
Makes sense.
That's where the
That's
money came
insane.
in, Joe. You were wondering how much or people in chat were wondering how much money Vin Diesel may have gotten paid compared to what Bradley Cooper got
Yeah.
paid. And like the real question is Vin Diesel.
right.
That's where he's like,
'Cause-
no, don't let them do the
price
other
per
languages.
word.
Let me do the other languages.
Because they're like, Vin, we only need you for about 15 to 20 minutes and we'll pay you like $1,000. And he's like, what if I was here all month? That's always a question I have for voice actors is like, how long did Bradley Cooper actually work on this film versus like Vin Diesel? I think that's just so fascinating because everyone else had to shoot for the normal like shoot schedule, which is weeks, presumably. Did Bradley Cooper knock this out? Did Bradley Cooper knock this out in like 6 hours? Who knows?
I don't know, man. But sticking with the Vin facts here, the facts of the furious, as we like to call them. According to Vin Diesel, his performance as Groot helped him through a dark time in his life. He was dealing with the loss of his best friend and Fast and Furious co-star, Paul Walker.
All right, Paul Walker.
Here's a quote from him. "It was the first time I came back to dealing with human beings after dealing with death. So playing a character who celebrates life in the way Groot does was very nice."
Aww.
I love that.
Surprisingly heartfelt.
Yeah.
Vin.
for Paul. And then the last two I got here for you. When Vin Diesel started recording his lines for Groot, he was pleasantly surprised to find himself working with an old friend, Doc Kane, the same sound technician he worked with on The Iron Giant.
Oh shit!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I love it. And then the final one, I saved the best for last. Vin Diesel recorded his lines wearing stilts so he could get a sense of how large Groot actually is.
Oh, incredible, incredible. He's the best.
I fucking love Vin Diesel.
I feel like Vin Diesel, similar to whoever plays Kendall Roy, would also use dramaturgically to describe his process.
My God.
And that just makes me really happy.
You gotta love it. All right, now we're getting into our
I thought you were gonna say he lived in a treehouse for 4 months to prepare for the role.
MT, I want to start with you. You've seen this movie more than any of us combined. What are your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 in 2023?
I think that this movie was probably one of the most heartfelt Marvel movies to ever be made. And like, I feel like that was the biggest draw for that movie because like no one has ever seen a movie like Guardians 1 up until that point. Because like it's essentially just like this huge space adventure family movie about like finding a new family. And like it's all about, you know, like family is the one that you choose and it's not always about blood. And like I love that like story and that like that message that James Gunn just crafted in that movie about all these screw ups who meet each other and save the galaxy and then later their universe, I guess. So well, Star-Lord sort of jeopardizes it, but we won't talk about that.
For love, man. It was for love. It was for love.
But no, Guardians 1, it has a special place in my heart because like it's one of those first Marvel movies that like had a truly heartfelt message. Because like we were getting like, you know, Cap 2, which was like badass, like yeah, we're doing kick-ass stuff and like fighting Hydra, but like this was just like, oh man, like this has a lot of soul than like most other MCU movies in like phase 1 and phase 2. So I really appreciated that.
Nick, what about you?
I mean, watching this movie again was so fun. It's very nostalgic, and it really does. You know, we were joking about it earlier, but harken back to those early days when the MCU was so much smaller. And this, I'll never forget. This was the movie where I was like, "This is where they're gonna fucking lose me." Right? Guardians of the Galaxy. How stupid is that? Who are these stupid people? Turns out it was Eternals where they lost me. But this was a risk, right? This was one of the ones where like we're not taking characters that people really have a lot of touchstones to, and we're gonna put out a really cool, fun story. But I think to MT's point, like Gunn really found the heart of this. It's an underdog story about a bunch of people that really don't have any other family or friends and come together. And there's a lot of great lines, very sweet lines in it. And it really is one of my favorite. It might not be one of like the ranked best Marvel films in my life, but I think it's one of my favorites to go back and watch over and over again because that group dynamic is so fun and so off and so plucky, and they just kind of nailed it across the board.
Joey.
I haven't rewatched this movie in a very long time, like probably since right before Guardians 2, right around there. So I kind of had in my mind remembered it being a lot funnier than it was, and I don't know if it's just because my bench line for funny MCU movies is now Thor Ragnarok that I was like, oh, this is like it's so good. It's like a lot, it's not as like punchy like at every kind of step that I was expecting it to be just based off of memory. But I had a really good time. It's really interesting to me like how well this cast gels together so quickly. And I think that we see that even more in the second one because it's like, oh yeah, like what's her name isn't even Palm Clementoff. I can't remember.
Palm Clementif?
Yeah. I was like, okay,
Mantis.
totally forgot she's like not even in this
Yeah.
movie, but that they can build all of these like character rapport so quickly and so earnestly and honestly, it's really fun. And then it's the Joey movie. I heard the voice and I was like, oh fuck yeah, I forgot that Lee Pace is in this movie.
Lee Pace. Just chewing up scenery.
I know.
Just enjoying his life.
Just the greatest.
Joey, the #1 Ronin fan.
maybe the only Ronin. No, it's true though, because like when you think about it too, like Drax is a totally different character he is in this.
Yeah.
They really found his humor in 2 and let Batista kind of go wild with that. In this one, he's a very serious and kind of tragic character, and and all of them are. And then I think you see the difference between this movie, which is like Thor Dark World, well, better than Thor Dark World, but like that kind of vibe of like we're trying to go for something serious versus Ragnarok. We're like, oh no, we know what these characters are. We know who Batista is. He's going to be the guy that's going to be standing there. And they're like, how long have you been standing there for? He's like, I've mastered the art of standing so still you can't see me. It's like, no, we can still see you.
1 hour.
Like that's what we love about him.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for next week. I don't know if I'm on this next week but I'm gonna watch it before Guardians 3 comes out because I love Guardians 2. So I'm excited to see upon rewatch if I still feel the same way watching him like sequentially.
Joey, I'm going to make the executive decision right now. Tim's going to pick if you're on it next week.
I mean, I
You're going to
figured.
be on. I'm 99% sure you're going to be on. Yeah. Andy Cortez, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like one of the better balanced movies. Just like this is like this and part 2 of Guardians are the James Gunn that I really, really, really love, and the ones that I kind of missed when we did our Peacemaker review. I'm like, I wish he'd rein in some of the humor back because I feel like it was so perfectly executed when it needed to be executed, and it wasn't really overdone in any moments. And I mean, Lord knows, Thor Ragnarok's probably my favorite. I love the funny sort of Marvel movies, but I think this one's just like insanely efficient. This movie shot 12 of 16 for 38 points, Nick. Like, this movie is just like
Couldn't have put it
perfectly
better.
on there.
Or like
you know?
that. Couldn't have put it better.
It's so well paced. It's so Lee-paced. You fucking guy.
Nice.
Fuck you, fucking guy. No, I don't know, man. I just like, it has so much heart. I don't know if there's a movie in the MCU that, like, when you try to wipe your memory from it and watch it for the first time, a movie that so perfectly captures all of its different tones in the first 15 minutes of the movie. It's heartbreaking and emotional at the beginning, and then what's it going to be? It's pulp, action, comedy, and suddenly we're flying back and he's in the Milano and he's looking, he's like, I've got to be honest, I didn't know you were here. It's like, God damn, dude. Like, I always like thinking about the lessons that Pixar writers have where they say, we like to start our movies showing our heroes or our main characters doing what they do best in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of the movie. And like, obviously we see his mom die, so I don't think that's what Star-Lord does best, but like just the whole action part of it, action and adventure part of it. And it's like line of dialogue, good Jaimin Hansu coming in and bringing the drama, and then it's more action, and then it's more comedy. And I just feel like it's like expertly crafted in a lab of like, this is maybe the perfect intro, I think, for a Marvel movie.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I can't believe how high I am on this after the rewatch. I've always loved Guardians.
I'm with you.
But there's something about, I haven't rewatched this one in years at this point. And when we did our initial in review leading into Infinity War, when we first debuted MCU in review, or KindaFunny in review in general, I remember when having first seen Guardians 2, walking out of the theater and being like, I liked that, but like, it's nothing that special, whatever. And then in the rewatch, I was like, yo, I was wrong. Guardians 2 is really fucking special, and it's better than the first one, and we were all crazy for thinking otherwise. And I felt like I got so defensive of how good 2 is, and like, because so many people talk shit about it, that I forgot that 1 is actually so goddamn good. And watching this, I am so excited for next week, because I'm like, there is no way that I think 2 is better than what I just watched. But I hope that it is, and I hope that this just continues, because I think that Guardians 1, after this rewatch, in modern times of knowing what we know about where the MCU goes, where James Gunn goes, this is as close you get to just a perfect film. It just fucking works. I think this is a classic movie outside of the MCU, outside of Marvel, outside of superheroes. This is up there with just the all-timers of, dang, they did the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I think that any way you look at what I care about MCU movies, whether it's characters, whether it's the acting, the comedy, the story, the lore, connecting to other movies, moving things forward, creating new visual identities, this movie does all of it. 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. So fun, so creative. Me and you always talk about the fight choreography of how cool are they using their skills and weapons in battle. The gravity prison break, all of that, like, any chance they had to go like, should we do something cool? They answered yes. And then they also made it heartfelt. And they also made it funny. And they did it all simultaneously around characters that none of us give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Now we will die for. I don't know how they fucking did it. Like, this movie is magic.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, man. That's a perfect way to put it. Like, the scene that I love the most that I totally forgot about was when they play like hot potato with the orb right at the beginning when they're all meeting each other and you're seeing how they're all fighting. I was like, this is magic. This is such a great scene right here. And it's cool because the movie kind of has to stand on its own 2 feet. A lot of the movies now, of course, are so baked into the lore of what we know and are standing on the shoulders of the Guardians of the Galaxy ones that you forget that if you were to pull this out, this is just a fun ass movie. If Avengers had never happened, I would still be like, Guardians is still a good movie.
Dude, and on top of that, with the MCU stuff, this is the movie that really introduced Thanos.
It starts it up.
This is the movie that really introduced the Infinity Stones, that we first see a Celestial that we won't really see until Eternals. Like, holy crap, this movie went there. Ronan, who's later in Captain Marvel. Like, this movie works so well by itself, but it also connects better than the majority of these movies.
I think that it's such a huge testament to James Gunn and his writing team, because this movie, I think, breathes new life into. I mean, again, it was 10 movies in, and we're getting a lot of Captain Americas and a lot of known quantities, right? But this is the movie that said, like Nick was mentioning earlier, and like you just mentioned, we don't know who these people are. Why should any of us care about it? And it gave us even more trust in Feige and the team of being like, no, we should care about all the other shit we don't know.
Yes.
Like, this is the movie that made us kind of believe in the vision and say, like, all right, I knew I was going to enjoy myself watching Chris Evans' Cap and watching Thor and all the Avengers squad, but this is the one that kind of said, all right, what else you got? I'll fucking take it all at this point. You know?
I didn't believe in the vision until Civil War.
Fucking God. God damn it.
It's a Friday, Nick.
We're
You got to
dude.
enjoy it.
Nice. I love a good front.
If you want more great singers like
great
that,
leap pace for the rest of us.
I'm going to need you to patreon.com/kindafunny to support us. But for everybody else, you're going to have to hear some ads. And here they are. Shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use. Or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You out there. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at KindaFunny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. RocketMoney.com/kindafunny. And now that we're back, let's get to the plot.
We've been practicing this for quite a while. I hope it goes well. Nick, you got the lyrics?
Wait, hold on. Let me pull the lyrics out.
You got the lyrics? You got the lyrics?
Because I was like, I think I know him, but I don't want to mess with it, okay?
Okay, here we go. Oh, shit. Hold on.
We're already fucked.
We're already fucked up. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Hold on, guys.
Put it in the thing.
Maybe the battery.
Joey Van.
No, battery's back. Okay, here we go.
If you like beer in the bar, Nick's got something to say.
I fucked up a note. God damn it.
That was good, though. You know what? That's our version of it, Andy. That's our version of it. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the plot for Guardians of the Galaxy Earth.
When you said that, pull up the lyrics, I was expecting way more lyrics than like those lines.
2 lines, Joe.
That you couldn't remember, but
Long day, Joe.
It's just
Long
2 lines.
day.
I love to do karaoke.
Long day,
It's
Joe.
been a long year, Joe.
Long year. Earth 1988. Let me tell you guys. Right here. MT probably knows, but let me tell you guys because you don't remember
Tell
that.
me.
Great year for movies. 1988. We're talking Beetlejuice, Heathers, Twins, Akira, Roger Rabbit, Die Hard, Joey.
Oh,
1988.
shit.
was it?
Joey came
On
out
my-
in 1988.
It was. I was around for a whole 6 days.
What a hell of a year to be born, Joey.
Yeah, me
we
too.
see Pete, of course, sitting in the waiting room listening to his
a little more.
awesome mixtape #1, while his mother, of course, is unfortunately dying in the next room of cancer. Pete's grandfather comes to bring him in. He's been fighting with the other kids. She notices a black eye because they smashed a bug or something, and he wanted to protect the little thing, and he couldn't do it. And then his mom's like, I got a little gift for you. She gives it to him with a note, but he doesn't open it because, unfortunately, she starts passing. And she says, listen, Peter, you can take my hand, Peter, take my hand. And Peter just won't. And then she passes away, but not before saying, of course, the main through line for all Marvel movies. Peter,
Oh God. Oh God.
Fuck, you're right. She does. She does say that. MT infamously, Nick got very hung up on Uncle Ben dying in the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And
that's not how he sounds at all. Though.
Mouth
You
stuff
have
when you do
you
that.
have the
His lips
impression
were so wet.
why is the tongue
so
out?
wet.
he didn't look like a dead possum on the ground.
This scene though, dang, right? Like
I hit,
kind of
man.
Immediately.
it hits you hard, and then on some dumb lore stuff in the future, they obviously didn't know this then, or maybe they did because it's James Gunn. But like the bug story, it's like we now know
It was
from
a
the
frog.
holiday special. Oh, okay. You know,
Frog.
then I'm
It
wrong.
was
Then I'm
frog.
wrong. Forget it. Everything I'm about to say is just off.
That's on me. That's on me. I thought it was.
But
a
no,
bug.
I did want to bring up something about that little beginning Guardians 2, because like he does defend a frog, which is a green frog, but later on I feel like that's foreshadowing for Infinity War when he defends Gamora after Thanos kills her, because Gamora's green like a frog, and it's like, yo, you freaking killed
That's the
my
Easter egg.
girlfriend, and then he punches Thanos much like he punched those bullies.
There we
so
go.
that's
Exactly.
just within Peter's personality to like defend people being bullied or like victims.
And immediately then you're just already emotional, like
Right.
just him yelling out and like all the drama and emotions in that room. It's like, God damn, they're already bringing the heat. I
Right.
don't even know who the fuck this kid is, you know?
Right. It's like Up. It's
Yeah,
like the beginning of Up.
exactly. Exactly. I do need people. I had a weird observation, Tim, and I need you to do this because you have the keen eye like I do. Okay, Nick,
it that
his
she
eyes
was-
are about
was that-
80 years old.
Was it that she was laying exactly like Uncle Ben?
No,
She was like-
it wasn't an Uncle Ben thing. Stop moving your mouth and tongue like that.
Yeah.
What it was though, I need everybody to look back at it. And in those moments where she's kind of like repeating and she's talking to Peter, her mouth, the inside of her mouth looks CG. There's something weird about this. It's just a weird thing I've got going on in my brain, I'm sure. But like, just watch it and let me know. Does it look like does that mouth look weird?
I did not notice the weird mouth.
That's a new segment we'll bring onto the show. Does that mouth look
Ready? And is it a weird mouth? I don't
need that on a
know.
shirt
Weird
immediately.
mouth with Scarpino. No, man, you're crazy. I don't know.
You're crazy.
It looked weird.
Yeah, it was not anything that like brought me out of the movie.
It's like the inside of her mouth didn't look dark
I
the way
have
it
to
should have been, but it may have been because like a light was hitting it. So it's like, why is it light in there?
Well, the
you know,
whole-
in video games, when a character opens her mouth, you're like, there should be shadow in there, but you don't have enough ambient occlusion. Like,
It's all about the ambient
Classic.
occlusion, everybody.
exactly.
A
The fact
volumetric
here
fog, you know?
that I do have to drop is, of course, that Quill's mother is played by Laura Haddock, who was also in Captain America: The First Avenger as a fan wanting his autograph. And there's been theories for a while that was the same character. But
yeah.
James Gunn's like, it's not the same character, but could have been cool.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
It's been people-
Nick's
it's been
got
constant.
something to say. I just wanted to nail that. Like, Kevin, if we could edit that in after the fact, let me know.
Perfect.
Absolutely impossible.
Of
Greg,
course,
that's impossible, right?
that's unfortunately impossible. Cool Greg is talking. He speaks for me. Of course, Peter is like overrun with guilt. He runs outside before his grandfather can stop him, and he is picked up by a Ravager ship. 26 years later, and this is what you're talking about here, right? Now we get to see the character. We get to see the character of Peter Quill, older, in his environment, doing what he does. And at this point, this might be the scene that sells me on the movie. This might be the thing where I go,
Tone setter, man.
I was like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
James Gunn, you have my attention. Because it's when he puts the tape in the Walkman, right? And then he starts singing to himself. And he grabs the little lizard and starts using it as a microphone. I'm like, okay, we get this.
But
This
it's
guy's
also,
an idiot.
It's the logo. It's the title hit.
The whole
I
thing,
love
yep.
a good logo popping
Yeah.
up on the screen. I love good like font and typography. But also shout out to like actual sets that he was walking around here. Like not all of it was a set, obviously, but it looked
Him
lived
kicking
in.
the water. It's like I can remember so many specific motions of him going through
Yeah.
because of the practicality of it.
It looked real. It looked like lived in, and it wasn't just CGI bullshit all around him. So I really, really enjoyed a lot of the practical sets in this movie because like you need that some of the time, you know.
No, you do.
Like-
It sells it.
MT?
Like he even dances with the skeleton at one point, which is one of my favorite parts of that sequence. So anyway,
It's great.
incredible.
And a couple quick things here. Like one thing I noticed was the seeing the old Marvel intro. Like it's not the Marvel Studios
Oh my
intro.
God,
We don't
yeah.
get the theme. We don't get the whole. It's the old comic book flippy one. I'm
That's
like,
right.
dang! Like we were this far in, and it still wasn't what we think of
I
as
missed
like
that one. I missed that intro.
the olden
It's
days.
so cool.
Yeah, and a fact here is the opening cave scene was originally written around Blue Swede's "Hooked on a Feeling." but James Gunn felt Redbone's Come and Get Your Love worked far better.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
He was right.
It worked so
I'm
well.
not crazy. They use Hook and then a feeling later
Yeah,
in the movie.
they do.
Right?
Yeah,
That's when they're getting booked into the prison, right? Fantastic. Again, another thing that sets the tone perfectly for this, right? You walk in, you go, okay, it's 80s. Obviously, I have a touchstone for that because I remember a large portion of it, the entire decade.
You were 40 years old during
Fair. But the use of the song here as both diegetic and also just like kind of existing outside of the actual world is so well done, and it sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
And I mean-
we're like, we're gonna get a banger of a soundtrack.
Not only that, you talking about the diegeticness of it all. We then get a joke about that in
Later.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Right? Singing to himself like
When we get War
Like, this is
Machine
the guy?
watching like this fucking idiot.
He's an idiot.
You just hear him listening. Like,
So
wow,
good.
that was incredible,
What a
man.
great moment. Anyway, Peter breaks in. We see that he's a thief of some sort, and he steals this magical silver MacGuffin, otherwise known as the Orb for now. Korath comes with his crew and tries to steal it back, but Pete, of course, outsmarts them and ends up getting away. But they have no. And this is the first time we get the joke, the setup for the great joke, which I thought was just going to be a dumb joke that goes all the way through. But man, the payoff of this joke is fantastic. He's like, "You might know me by another name," and he's like, "What?" Star. And the camera does that thing where it pushes into him as he says it. He goes, "Star Lord." Who? Star Lord, man. Like a performance
of
man.
the Who
Yeah.
is just
Right.
so
It's
good.
it's such a gut punch. Like,
Yeah.
get over yourself, bro. Of course, this you get a little action sequence here where he goes over to his ship, the Milano, and escapes, and it's a cool sequence. And right as it ends, we get that next little beat of comedy that Andy was talking about, where Morit pops up. And he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot you were there." And I love that she's wearing like one of his old T-shirts that's like way too small.
And also
'cause it
doesn't
was when he was a
remember her
kid.
name. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's, oh, hey, fucking, it's so good, man.
Of course, a call comes in, and it's Yondu. And before Pete can tell her not to answer it, she answers it. And Yondu is not happy because he gets the suspicion that Pete is going to double cross him. And sure enough, he is. Of course, he lays it on thick like an old mom would. Like, I saved you when I picked you up from Terra. Everyone wanted to eat you, and how dare you? I saved you.
I had a C-section for you,
Exactly.
you know?
I was at 13 hours of labor for you. Your
That's what
brother
my
was
mom always
easy.
does, yeah.
Your brother
Months
was
of
easy.
sleepless nights.
Oh my god, all that stuff.
She'll always go, the scar's still here. Look at the scar. My mom always tells me.
And then of course we head over to the Dark Aster, which I forgot the name of that ship, but it's
And
cool
also
as shit.
just great, like, great font treatments whenever they're showing the locations. And it's always like, yeah, great, like, kind of like typography display, like motion graphic shit. But I love that it's always a color of the environment. So,
Yeah.
like, the Dark Aster is kind of like the light purple of the cloud. It's just good shit, man.
It's it's very interesting. Of
Again,
course,
we've said this a million times throughout in MC interview, but like this movie defined the look of space.
Yep.
Like this is the moment the
1000%.
space got colorful.
yeah, it kind of redefined it for me because the idea of like, well, obviously in the MCU, this is the first time we've really seen this much of it. But to me, this is one of those interesting things where you're like, this is like. I mean, it's a space action film starring a Han Solo-like character. It is like a Star Wars film, like what a Star Wars film could have been in an
Yeah.
alternate universe where, you know, it wasn't so kind of heavily focused on the Skywalker.
You got this scoundrel, and it, more importantly, kind of got my hopes up to then those hopes to later be dashed, Tim, because space doesn't look like that. Like,
No, it's just
whenever they show photos of like, oh, here's the moose knuckle. No, not that. No, when they show, you know what I mean? Like
Camel toe.
the star systems out there where it's
Space
like,
Yeah.
this is the hand of God or whatever. This is
I gotta
the.
start studying stars more.
Whenever they show those stars, it's like they only look like that if you have infrared. That broke my heart when I learned that fact. man.
Oh, you mean all the nebula and all that
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
Science with Kev.
Yeah, he's
Actually,
right.
fun fact: the Hand of God is actually in Guardians 1.
Wow,
Like,
really?
It's really quick in like one of those shots where like it's a transition shot, but like the Milano like flies into the Hand of God like very very briefly. But yeah,
It doesn't look
James
like
Gunn
that,
loves
Tim.
that stuff.
You need thermal vision to see all that.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
Did you ever, you guys ever see that quote that by Shatner after Bezos flew him to space, and they were like, what was
He
your
was so
experience there?
depressed.
He was so depressed.
Oh, yes.
He was like, it was the most
Oh,
depressing
yeah,
thing
I
I've
saw
ever. He's
that.
like, I came back like unbelievably in like a dark place, and they were like, why? He goes, because I've spent my life like gallivanting around this quote unquote universe. Then when I got out there, it was just nothingness, and he goes, and I felt myself like.
Yeah.
This incredible yearning to be back on Earth and to be like back on land, and I was like, "Damn,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
poignant."
after I read that quote,
It's
I was
dumb.
like, that sort of confirmed my suspicions of like everyone's like, yeah, I can't wait. I would love to go on a spaceship one
Never.
day. I would never
Never.
ever want to be on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Just be, like coasting in the void? Absolutely not. I will have an existential crisis
Dude.
and then cry myself to death.
I have existential
coffee
crisis
public
in my
my
room.
sheets.
I'm watching
Yeah,
The Office at night. Yeah.
Anyway, over on the Dark Asteroids was Decree warship. We meet our big bad guy Lee Pace, or Ronan, the
Accuser.
abductor. That's right. He's
What were
waging
you
a
gonna
war.
say?
Abductor,
Ronan the
Close.
Abductor, yeah.
but not
yeah.
abductor, abductor, like like the muscle
Yes.
group. He's waging a war against Xandar because of all these old politics, yada yada yada, and he wants to smash people with big hammers. Man, this shit's fucking brutal looking.
Hold on,
That's
I want to stop
hardcore.
here real quick. MT, we have you, so I can just ask you here. This hammer,
Yes.
is this the hammer that we see in the Marvels trailer?
I think that they're the same type of hammer, but like I think it's probably a different like hammer. I think that that's her hammer specifically, because all the accusers all carry hammers, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they just all
That was a
have their own
refurbished model, Tim. He got it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, this one like went to pieces, but I guess they can pull back anything that goes to pieces.
Yeah,
hammer.
Stop
GameStop
with-
refurbished.
Yeah.
hammer.
Hammer. Of course,
How
Ronan.
exciting it is that we got Lee Pace in the MCU, but so early and not used for nearly long enough.
I love Lee.
He's
Right.
There's two people in here that I always confuse for each other, and I like them both. It's Lee Pace and Peter Serafinowicz, who is the other guy that played he played the Tick in the Amazon series. He's the British guy who's like, he's an a-hole.
Oh,
More importantly, he
What a
plays
fool.
fucking Patches in the Dark Souls and Bloodborne and
Does
Elden
he?
Ring games. Yes.
Wow.
He's
Oh.
Patches.
He's got that
Oh,
great
this guy.
proper like British voice. Yeah, he's great. And I love him, of course, from the movie Spy, where he played either a British spy or a really sleazy Italian spy. We don't know which one he was. He's
Chris
really going back
Chris
and forth.
Anka says, yes, it's the hammer of the accusers, which is a rank of the Kree.
Now my question is this: can I, like, if I put strength points toward that, is that going to help me, or is this
You
a
need
faith-based
dexterity.
weapon?
You need
Okay,
dexterity.
okay.
Yeah.
It's an Elden Ring. reference.
Elden Ring
You're not
jokes I
gonna
wouldn't
get it.
understand.
You're not gonna get it. Anyway,
Tim doesn't
Ronan.
know anything about specking points into anything.
Ronan promised to Thanos he would retrieve the ore for him so he can destroy it. And then once he does, Thanos has promised he will destroy Xandar. He sends Gamora to intercept Pete at the meeting place, which is with the broker on the surface of Xandar. Rocket and Groot are there too. We get our first sort of glimpse at Xandar here, which is like kind of an idyllic.
No, I'm wrong. That's not
society.
the voice of Patches. Sorry. I got to.
Oh, okay.
Also, like fun fact about this scene of Rocket and Groot like scanning all the people. This is the first time we see Skrull, the Skrull language in the MCU. I think like
Oh, cool.
in that weird overlay, you see some Skrull. Text.
as he's like,
Oh, cool.
but not using the
I didn't notice
binoculars on
that.
him. Interesting. I like it that. Yeah, I didn't spot that because I was too busy watching Rocket just make fun of a child because the child couldn't stand on its own.
Well, also call
Absolutely
Stanley a
roasted.
pervert.
Yeah, he calls Staley an old pervert. Call him an old pervert, which is great. Pete meets up with the broker, and he's like, who'd you get chased by again? He goes, oh, this is some guy Ronan, and the broker's like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. You're done. Whatever. Backs out of his deal. Of course, Gamora's there waiting for him, all seductively, because she knows Pete is a dude. And then, of course, takes advantage of him, kicks his ass to steal the orb. And this is where we get the first of really the team coming together and that dynamic. And you see it. What I love about this is you see the dynamic physically first as they're making all these quips together. And, of course, that's going to be mirrored later as they sort to come together, argue, and then eventually decide that they're like each other's best friends. This scene is great. I forgot all about it. I forgot it was coming. And then you get to the part where Rocket's like, this is going to hurt, and just lobs an energy ball at Pete. And you just see him get hit in the distance. We don't even catch up with it. We just say, ah! It's
great comedy. Yeah, great.
physical comedy. Great blocking. 10 out of 10.
The scene is so great because it follows all the rules that we talk about of looking for what a good action sequence should be. Again, introducing characters, giving them unique characteristics that we can follow and we can identify the action of what's going on. We often talk about how we watch a lot of action movies, and when you're in broad daylight, you kind of don't have anywhere to hide.
Yeah.
Like we need to, unless you're like doing the shaky cam, like whatever. This just is a fun blocking of showing the action of how everything's going. You see it clearly, and it's like, I love that James Gunn had the confidence to just be like, yeah, we're gonna have a pretty like just normal open city area, but like we're gonna make it work for all these characters and for all their unique action identities that they have. That like we learn about them through their fighting styles, which is just such a cool thing. And I mean, we're superhero fans. Like that stuff's cool to us. So I just love that this was the first introduction to Gamora, Rocket, and Groot all together, where it's like, oh, I immediately understand dynamics here.
Of course, it ends with all of them getting arrested by the Nova Corps, which is headed up by John C. Reilly. And I'm like, all right, you son of a bitch. I'm like, James Gunn.
God, man.
I was in, but now I love this movie. And John C. Reilly just messing with Star-Lord, or Star Prince, as he calls him, just to have a good time.
And with that voice that he has, like anyone calling him Star Prince is funny. John C. Reilly calling him Star Prince is perfect.
Just the best. And then we're introduced to another person I totally forgot was in this. And at the time, I was like, how did they get Glenn Close to be Nova Prime?
Shocking.
And she's great in this because she's a great actor. Of course, she wants the Kree. She's on a phone call with the Kree or a Zoom call with the Kree Empire. And they're like, we don't want anything to do with this guy, Ronan. We're going to disavow all the stuff. We get a nice little backstory here about the team as they're getting booked in. John C. Reilly is like, this is so-and-so, this is Groot, this is Rocket, this is Gamora, and then we get...
one of my underrated, like, favorite things, and usually heist movies, when they're like, they go through the roles of everybody on the team, and you're like, hell yeah, this is about to pop off.
Yeah, like this guy, like Rocket, of course, is like the weapons specialist, and he can make anything, and then Groot's the heavy, and then
What would be
Peter's
yours,
the leader.
Nick?
I'd be the guy that just brings levity, you know, and pizza.
Okay, gotcha.
Levity and pizza guy. And then, of course, we get the great scene here. Look, Chris Pratt, I love him as Peter Quill. And nothing's more funny to me than the dumb physical comedy of him doing this.
Oh my God, yeah.
I didn't know he did that. And the fact they even let him do that was hilarious. But
Yeah, dude.
it's fun. It's a dumb goof.
Some Chris Pratt stuff here I got for you is Chris Pratt apparently stole his Star-Lord costume from the set for the sole purpose of having it available so he could show up in costume to visit sick children in the hospital who might want to meet
What a king.
Star-Lord. So fuck yeah, that's
That's
I
awesome.
have a follow-up question, piece for that. No kids wanted. They wanted Captain America.
And then also, James Gunn stated that Chris Pratt's audition was so good, he was prepared to offer him the role, even if Pratt did not lose weight or get in shape in time. Gunn joked that he was willing to CGI a six-pack on Pratt's body.
Yeah.
However, Pratt asked Gunn to give him 6 months to lose 50 pounds. He ended up losing 60.
Boy,
Jesus.
The Prattification, we call it.
bro.
Is this the first time that we see, like, the beginning of actors, like, getting jacked the fuck out for Marvel movies?
I think
Because I don't
so, yeah.
remember Chris Evans having as much of, like, a hub around him.
No, I mean, well, Chris Evans was always jacked.
That's the
because
thing.
he had
It's the
done
first
Johnny
time.
Storm.
Oh,
He had
that's
done a bunch of other, and he had a good figure, even in like not another teen movie and all the movies that he had done before.
But he wasn't as big as he was. In
No, he got
But it wasn't, like, such a drastic.
because and then remember also because the last we'd seen like RDJ, but he wasn't really like, I'm not taking my shirt off. He was fit, but wasn't like jacked out of his
Yeah.
gourd.
I mean, I mean, Chris Hemsworth is pretty yacked out of his mind.
That's true.
But I
But
think
again-
we only knew him as Jack. We've
Oh,
never known
Yeah,
him
this
as
this
not
and Kumail, I think, are the two examples.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
don't
you're
forget,
right.
Chris Pratt was on Parks and Rec,
Rec.
and he played
Right.
kind of a
Well,
a loaf.
that's why the end of the Parks and Rec seasons are very off-putting because he's got really dyed light brown hair and he's insanely jacked. And it's like
Wait,
Andy Dwyer's like no longer a chubby schlub. Like, what's going on here?
Like I love the way they explain it in the show. They're like, oh yeah, I just stopped drinking. Well, I believe his character goes to London actually to work for Peter Seraphin.
Oh yeah,
Anyways, really? Oh, that's awesome.
And he's just like, I just stopped drinking beer. And it's just like, yeah, that's enough.
So funny.
it's crazy.
Do you guys remember that time Stomach Mike stopped drinking chai tea lattes and then crashed around noon?
Oh my god.
And he crashed hard. You guys can see it on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames in the
And
archive.
speaking of which, like, or not speaking, I'm talking about the body. Like, can we just talk about the body, Kevin? Hit it. Hit it for us, Kevin. Were they born in labs? Now it's time to rank those abs.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Just talk.
Welcome back to Rank Those Abs, everybody. Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. He looks fantastic. We've heard Marvel actors be like, look, this is fucking hard. And obviously we've seen Chris Pratt himself kind of not go as hard for Volume 2, and then Volume 3, I think he's probably as kind of in shape as he was, maybe a little bit more than Volume 2. But in this one, he looks perfect. I mean, he looks so fucking good.
The mass, dude.
His
they're
first
like
shot,
delousing
like,
him, and he's jacked.
The
out of
scene we're in right now,
First
the
shot.
delousing scene with like the red laser stuff, like that was
Oh,
like
what?
the first image this movie ever released. I'm
100
pretty sure.
Yeah.
And like I remember this was back when we were at IGN. Like we did like full breakdown videos of this one image.
Yeah.
And it was just like, there's no way this is real. Like people were
mean-
convinced it was CG because it was like, this is the dude from Parks and Rec. Like not
Damn.
a fucking chance, man.
I mean, he just looks great.
It may be the hardest worked for MCU body. Like,
I
when
don't
we
know.
talk about
I
where
don't
he
know.
was coming
Kumail's
from.
probably harder. Kumail was like not in shape at all when he was doing. At least Chris
But
Pratt.
I think Kumail was
Pratt,
always a
though?
smaller frame, though.
That's true.
He was always like,
He wasn't
mean,
like, yeah, he
I
was
would-
skinny.
I would disagree. I would say Ultron and Vision, hardest worked for body.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. You're totally right.
A lot of people suck at that.
Because here's the thing, MT. Whenever we do our rank those ab segments, we always like dock points from Tom Holland because it's like
naturally
he's a little skinny dude. It
Yeah.
doesn't take a whole lot to show the abs. With Chris Pratt, it took a while to get those abs rocking, and
Right.
this
And
dude
Plus,
is like
it's not fair with Tom Holland because he was bit by a radioactive spider.
That's
so, like,
true.
That's
Yeah.
just an
And
advantage.
Chris Pratt, that was just on that quasi good sitcom. All right, so we get, of course, they're getting booked in, and this is when all the characters start getting a chance to know each other. I mean, he
maybe I'm
looks
wrong.
fucking great.
Maybe I'm wrong.
That's incredible. It's so wild.
Is he even shirtless though in his movie? You know?
I would be like,
You
if
definitely-
I
Oh,
got
is
that
Kumail even?
You see a lot of like arms for him. I feel
Sure,
like,
but I'm saying is he shirtless? Because like, let's not joke around. That scene where he's getting deloused or whatever
Yeah.
it is,
It's-
and it's just
It's powerful.
It's an awakening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of people in the scene just grunting. You know,
I mean,
watching
it's
it.
Yeah.
it's good. He's a very good.
Someone call it like a sexual awakening.
Yeah.
I would call it that. Of course, they're getting to know each other. This is the first time we start really getting understanding that all Groot says is "I am Groot." Peter, of course, very frustrated with this very quickly.
But I mean, Groot and Rocket.
Yeah.
Immediately, you're like, I
Yeah.
love you guys.
Love you guys.
Like, there's just nothing I love more than like buddies and like, holy shit. Like the dynamic between them is just from the first scene, you get it. And then the more you learn, you can just fill in gaps so beautifully. Where I feel like we meet them here and they tell us one sentence from here, one sentence from here, one sentence from way back there, and we could perfectly fill in the gaps. Great storytelling.
Great storytelling. Of course, it turns out Gamora was going to try to betray Thanos for the orb and sell the orb to different parties so she can get away from it all. Her backstory is very tragic, as is Nebula's. We all know it. But Peter flips out when someone listens to his Walkman. We get a funny sequence of him getting the shit beat out of him and everyone getting booked in and him getting deloused, too hooked on a feeling, which is great. And Pratt looks fantastic. And then we get another shot, which again, to just speak to the darkness of this movie, of just him seeing one little shot of Rocket's modifications on his back, like the genetic implants that he's had, and it's very sad.
It's sad. And it's weird that it's
truly
sad.
not ready
because
for
like I feel like this was only sad because of the direction. This is the power that James Gunn has of finding the humanity in things where that could have been shot and it been like, oh, look how cool this is. Like these are his battle scars, whatever.
Right.
But just the way that they shoot it without, I mean, it's super, they focus on it. But like, I feel like it's more subtle than it could be, but it means so much.
Agreed. Oh,
Thanks, Kev.
Thank you, Kev.
worth it.
Thanks for the smoke.
Subtle.
Of course, they're the fresh meat on the block, and everyone wants to kill them, especially Gamora, because they all know who she is. And we get our first shot here as they're arguing up top of Drax, the Destroyer, that's sitting down there, played by David Bautista, he's just great in this movie.
David,
Dave?
full name.
I call him Mr. David.
Mr. David.
So, I mean, some would say sir, but he hasn't gotten that official.
Yeah,
title
there's
yet,
no knighthood yet.
unfortunately. But we're working on that. We're working on that right now with the King.
Who are you talking to work on that?
It took
guy
the makeup
talking
artist
to-
5 hours daily to do makeup and apply 18 prosthetic tattoo pieces onto Batista. Chris Pratt revealed that during that process, Batista stood the entire time with hands holding onto rails, which had tennis balls on them with no complaints whatsoever. Eventually, the process was narrowed down to an average of 3 hours, while 90 minutes were required to remove the makeup.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Again,
You know
he's-
what I really like in this scene?
What's that?
I really like
That's
the
dedication.
small little cameo from Nathan Fillion and the way that this alien looks and is designed. It has like a very kind of video gamey look to it. The guy that walks up, he's like, "Hey, who the fuck are you guys?" And then Groot sticks the
Oh,
shit
that
up
was
his
Nathan
nose.
Fillion?
Yeah, it's a Nathan Fillion cameo, and I just love the design of this dude. I kind of wish we saw more aliens looking like
But
this.
see, my thing is this: this takes me out of it because everyone else is done practically in this scene. They're all they've got the this traditional like Star Wars makeup on, where it's like or Star Trek, where it's like a humanoid, but he's got pointy ears or whatever. This guy's the only CG thing in here other than Groot, and so it kind of takes me out of it a little bit.
I guess I just like the design of it. It
Yeah.
kind of reminds
Yeah.
me like a Lilo and Stitch sort of
Oh, yeah,
design.
totally.
Oh my
You know?
God, yeah.
That
That's
looks a little
that's
bit
a
like
good pull.
who's like the heavy in the Green Lantern Corps?
Oh right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Kilowog.
Kilowog.
Oh,
yeah, it kind of reminds me of a little Kilowog there.
You saying this though, Andy, and you saying that actually, Nick, specifically, this scene, a note I wrote down is like, this looks like it was shot in the volume. Like, it does not look great. It does not look that practical, the whole prison scene, but it doesn't matter. We understand what they're trying to go for, and it's such a fun scene. It's so well choreographed. The story's so great. The acting's so fun. The music's, all of it's so good that, like, who gives a shit that it doesn't look perfect? And I just want to remind people that it's not like, oh, every movie now looks like horrible, but they used to look great. It's like, no, even some of our favorites didn't look that great, but it's okay. Now, I don't know if the modern movies can compare to what we're seeing here, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that we can just write off the volume. It's like, oh, it's lesser than because it's shot there. It all depends on what you do with it. So I'm hopeful for a better future.
And also, this movie being as old as it is, I think Rocket looks phenomenal. Like, I love Rocket CG.
Unreal.
And in this sequence, where we're getting this great explanation from Rocket of how to break out of this place, we get to that in a little bit, right? Because we still haven't really met Sir David Bautista yet. But I want to just shout out Bradley Cooper's line delivery throughout all of this. I think this is like some of my favorite line delivery in any MCU movie, of him just saying how to break out of here. Well, I don't know. Apparently some of the guys find you attractive in here. They're like, really? And he's like, oh yeah, apparently they find you attractive. I don't know. Like, this whole part, like, it's just so, it's done so great, you know? And I think this is one that you watch back and go, damn, he really kind of shined in this role. In a role that isn't just Bradley Cooper talking into a mic.
Dude.
He's doing a voice,
Right.
he's playing a character. It isn't just Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so with you, and like, this is jumping ahead just a little bit, but in line with what you're saying about Bradley Cooper's Rocket, a line that I, up until this point, never gave the credit that it deserves is the end culmination of this prison break scene when he gets the gun and he jumps on Groot, and the music swells and then just stops. Camera goes up to him and he just goes, oh yeah, and then starts shooting. Like, oh my God, chills all over my body. And like, that's not a catchphrase. That's not like oh, he said Avengers Assemble. It's just like, yo, you built these characters up, and I'm
excited for what's happening.
Rocket is as excited about having this gun as I am seeing him shoot it.
Yeah.
Of course, we have Drax and Gamora. Well, Gamora gets kidnapped, of course, and then Drax.
Sorry,
comes to
is this Bradley Cooper's like first like voice acting
I assume so.
gig?
I'm gonna look that up, but I think so.
Because I think it's just so impressive, because I feel like I'm usually the one that's like, oh, it's that person's voice, and I get taken out immediately. And this is one that I've like never really been able to find Bradley Cooper's voice in it. And it's
Right.
just so impressive if this is the first time he's ever done that.
Possible. Tim will tell. Only Tim will tell.
It's a Friday.
That's a Friday, guys. That's what it is. Of course, Drax stops everyone from killing Gamora because he wants to be the one to kill her first. But she, of course, says, no, I'm not with Ronan. I want to kill him too. I am your best bet. But Peter intervenes and says, look, don't kill her. Ronan will come for her, and then you'll get your chance to kill her as well. I do want to note that before
Thanos,
this happened,
right? Like, you'll be able to kill Thanos.
well, he wants to kill Ronan. Not
But, like,
Thanos,
she's
yeah.
talking about Thanos, like, because aren't they all like, oh, aren't you fucking Thanos?
Well, they all, yeah, it's Thanos' daughter,
Yeah,
but
right,
Drax
okay.
wants to kill her specifically because, or he
Ronan
wants,
for killing his wife.
because he wants to
daughter,
get to Ronan, right? Because Ronan's the one that kills his wife. And it's only later in the movie that he says, well, actually, the real culprit's Thanos.
Yeah.
And goes after it.
Real quick, I need to let you guys know that seemingly from BehindTheVoiceActors.com, Bradley Cooper did first voice act Rocket, and his only voice acting credits are Rocket in every iteration of the MCU, and the character Ben as a voice on a phone call in 10 Cloverfield Lane in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he plays
Oh.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead's like boyfriend.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
At the very beginning.
That's a good movie.
That's actually my favorite Bradley Cooper role.
Before this scene, of course,
Snubbed
I
at the
do want to
Oscars.
note that Peter was trying to sleep, but he was in the middle of what was that? What's the term you used for this?
Cuddle Puddle?
There you go.
I
Yep.
regret every time this comes up that I ever
You laid right
said
down
that.
into that one, Joey. Yeah. Of course, they hatch a plan. They're like, listen, we got to get out of here. And the only way we can get out of here is with each other. So Rocket's like, I can get us out of here. I've escaped from 22 jails. I can do this. Here's what we need, everyone. And this scene is great because you think there's going to be a time jump here. But he's like, I need that guy, the battery from that little thing up there. I need that armband. I need this. And I need that guy's prosthetic leg. We all understand that. He goes, we got to get the battery last because once we get that, all hell's going to break. And we're as he's saying this, Groot is just walking up out of focus in the back, reaches up, grabs the battery and everything. It goes, or we could get it first and we'll improvise, which is exactly what the Guardians of the Galaxy are. And this scene is fucking awesome. It's great. It's the second, I guess it's really the first really kind of big action sequence that we're going to get with all these characters together, which is cool. They battle their way out. They get up to the the guard tower, which is where they're trying to get to. Of course, Peter gives him the leg, and Rocket just proceeds to laugh at him. He's like, I didn't actually need that. I just wanted to see.
It was around this moment. So I was
I gave him
watching
30,000 credits.
What was his face? What did he say? How did he look?
Yeah, how did he look? Was he hopping around?
legitimately some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in any movie. The leg business is so fucking funny. But watching this, I watched it with G and with Cool Greg, and I just fucking loved it because Cool Greg around this moment just goes, dude. They really are a good team.
They are,
They
dude.
fucking are, man.
Yeah.
We cut over
Like,
to.
Go for it.
Well, I was just gonna say, I really like this moment in particular with the leg stuff because like it sort of teases Rocket's story in Volume 3 because we learn in Volume 3 that he was basically like torn apart and put back together by the High Evolutionary. So like if you're seeing all of your friends get torn apart, you're gonna have some dark humor about body parts.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like that was very much laying the groundwork for Rocket's really tragic and messed up upbringing as a little tiny baby raccoon.
Yeah, and then him wanting Bucky's arm in Infinity War, and then getting
Right.
it in Holiday Special.
I'll get that arm.
Yeah.
I'll get that arm.
Great lie.
Ronan, of course, gets called up by the big guy Thanos because Gamora has betrayed him, it turns out. And Ronan.
Oh, real quick though, before they fully escape out of all of this.
We haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Sorry.
We're still this the scenes are intercut because I think they gotta get the thing out first. I think I skipped ahead there, but Ronan is like talking a lot of shit to Thanos, and Thanos just turns on him and he says, "The only matter I do not take seriously is you, boy." Calls him boy.
Got him.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. He says, "Go get."
Disrespect.
He's like, "What I want you to do is go do what you promised." And of course, then we get Andy. The best line ever recorded in an MCU movie.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. Sounds fair.
Seems fair.
I've always had an issue with Nebula. I'm just like thanks, Dad. Seems fair.
Yeah.
It's just always kind of through. I was like,
He is like so breathy.
she has a nice accent. Let her use her
It's
accent.
weird.
Yeah, like I was a huge Doctor Who. I'm still a huge Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
So seeing Karen Gillan go from Amy Pond to Nebula was very jarring.
Yeah.
It's
Dad,
yeah.
seems fair.
This is where Rocket tells everyone the plan. All hell breaks loose. Of course, they get it. Let's see. They head to the guard tower. Yada yada. Pete calls Drax. This is my favorite scene. I think the whole thing. They head to the guard tower. Peter gives Rocket the leg. He says, "I was just kidding about that. What did he look when he was running around?" Pete calls Drax a walking thesaurus, and Drax says, "Never call me a thesaurus again." And then Rocket goes, You can't call him things like that. They don't. His people are very literal. They don't understand metaphors. They go right over his head, and he goes, "Nothing goes over my head. I would catch it. I have great reflexes."
And that,
I was like, you know what, dude? This is my favorite MCU movie.
yeah, these are all the sort of like
My reflexes are
foundations.
too good.
These are all the foundations of the awesome sort of Drax that we get later on. The Drax that we all know and love. But I think honestly, probably my most underrated line is like such a quick little throwaway thing that got me I laughed so freaking hard last night when they're running out and Rocket goes, "Oh, they folded up your clothes, They just crumpled mine in the ball."
He's pissed about that. That's funny. That's great.
It's like the disrespect.
Yeah, he's so like bothered by it. It's so great.
Of course, as they're leaving, Peter notices that he finds the orb, and then he notices that his Walkman is not there, and it's interesting that the Walkman's more important to him. So he's like, "You guys go get the ship. My ship's called the Milano." It's the first time I think we get the name of the ship. Comic book readers, of course, probably know that, but me not knowing anything about Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, did he name his
He really
ship
likes the cookies?
after Alyssa Milano?
Oh.
I think that's what it was,
Yeah.
right?
Is it really?
Because he had well, every
I think
boy,
that's what
every
he actually
8-year-old
did,
boy
yeah.
had a crush on Alyssa Milano in the 80s because she was on Who's the Boss.
Who's the boss?
It was fantastic. I had a huge crush on her. Let's see. Oh, of course, he goes over, and this is another time when we get diegetic music where the guy's listening to the Pina Colada song on the Walkman, and then he kicks his ass, and then we get that wonderful shot, the actual like the hero shot of Star-Lord coming around the whole of a kiln outside, flying outside as it goes, "If you like making love at midnight," and he's just got
great.
that badass shot where his hair is like floating
Yeah.
on the wind. And he gets on board, and again another great Drax moment where he's like, "You are an excellent companion. Like, I would be honored to go into battle with you. What did you risk your life to get?" And he gives him the Walkman, and he's like, "You're an imbecile." Of course, Rocket wants, and then so this is the first time the team's all together, free on the ship on the Milano. Rocket's building something crazy. He wants to put a bomb in a little box, and he's like, "Don't do that." And then we get a fun line from Gamora, which is like, "Quill, your ship is filthy." And he goes, "Oh, you have no idea. We had a black light. This place looked like a Jackson Pollock painting." I'm like, "Damn, that got nasty."
And then another great line delivery from Bradley Cooper, like, Pete, you got issues, man. Quill, you got issues.
Him calling him Quill is
Yeah.
just such a good
Quill, you got
too.
issues.
Ronan, of course, Ronan and Nebula get to the killing just a little too late. They find
Chris
everyone-
Anka in the chat with the correction says, it's not from the comics, it's just for the movie because as an 80s kid, she was his crush. Milano. Alyssa Milano.
Wait, who? Was-
Not in the comics. Just from the movie.
Oh, so it's just a movie thing. Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, it makes sense.
Because he's bringing up all these 80s references.
Kevin
the whole
Bacon,
time.
all that stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, God, can you believe that pays off? Can you believe we got
Shut
Kevin
up.
I know,
Bacon
right?
as Kevin
It's so
Bacon?
satisfying.
Come on.
Is
so
this-
weird and awesome.
Yeah, this is the movie where she's like, "We're just like Kevin Bacon."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronan orders the kiln cleansed. Meanwhile, Yondu interrogates the broker over on Xandar about his tchotchkes at first.
With the
And
great eyebrows.
You think, again, another fun little subtlety. You're talking Peacemaker where he goes way over and lets everyone do whatever they want. This scene is so fucking hilarious because there's even a payoff to it. He's looking at the little tchotchkes and he's like, I like to put them all on my little dashboard, on my ship so I can look at them while I fly around. And you're like, oh, he's fucking with this guy. He's just like intimidated because that's like a crazy thing you'd say to someone before you're about to intimidate him. And then later it's like, oh, he likes these things. It's actually a real thing that he does. He likes having.
These Trotsky things like come back in Volume 2 and in the
they
holiday
hit.
special and all of it. It's just, man, James Gunn.
I think
He knows how
they
to build a
bury him with
universe.
that.
We get introduced to his arrow, and that's his intimidation.
What were you saying, MT?
So good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think they bury him with one of those little doohickeys that he got from the broker.
Yeah, that's right.
They put like one on his grave before they burn him.
Nice. Of course, then we go over to, I think this is where we go to Nowhere, maybe?
Mhm.
Maybe not. But okay, so we
Yeah,
meet
they're
the
on the way to
collector,
Nowhere.
and he
We're
is a
introduced
dick,
to
man.
Karina.
He's got Karina, and she's like, she's a slave to him, and it is not good.
This
She's
is
not
one
a
of the
slave.
scenes that I don't love, only because of just I feel like it didn't test well with audiences, and they feel like they had to be even more on the nose with it of the collector being like, Karina, don't remember the last thing that happened. And that's all you need to say. I don't need the camera to turn and have a girl behind him like, ooh, like trapped in a sense. It's so awkward.
Yeah.
And like, if it was played for humor, it would work. But it wasn't played for humor. It was just like, hey, you know what happened to the last girl who didn't fucking follow rules or whatever when he's telling her to clean more.
He's right there.
Yeah, but the fact that she's back there, it's sort of an awkward scene. Like, you could be menacing and just say that, and I would understand you're a bad dude, you know?
I do want to give a shout out to this actress that played Karina, because she is the lead in the Showtime show Minx with Jake Johnson.
Oh.
She's very, very good in that. If you guys have, I think that the show got canceled and picked up by Stars. If you have Stars, you should watch it. It's very, very good.
It's on my little carousel right now.
Very good.
I'm with Eddie that like there's parts of this scene that like are a little off quality wise, but I love the collector's kind of museum. And for those of you that don't know, at Disneyland, Tower of
Let
Terror.
me do it, Tim.
Go for it.
No, no.
Oh.
Let me. I want to rank all of these attractions for these movies so badly because this one is so good at Disneyland. Guardians, what is it? Escape? Breakout. Yeah.
It's I freaking love it too. They took the Tower of Terror and they refurbished it to be a Guardians ride, and the entire line, the queue as you're getting there is this museum. So like you're going through the collector's collection, and it's so freaking awesome. It's such
the
an
coolest.
experience.
Very
Another
cool.
great sort of portrayal of the collector's rendition in the video game.
Yeah.
In the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, the collector's area where you're seeing all the random artifacts and little Easter eggs, that part is really cool. In the
Yeah,
game.
MT, I know you're really into games as well. Have you played the Guardians game?
Not yet. I've been sort of just waiting. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to treat myself to the Guardians game until I get the Easter egg, and I haven't played it yet.
I love that. I think
So
it's
one
going
of
to be up
these
your alley,
days.
man. I think you're going to like it a lot.
It
I hear
caught
it's
a lot of
amazing.
us off guard. It's really, really damn good. Great storytelling and characters.
We get a little backstory here on Nowhere, which is a mining colony in the severed head of an ancient celestial being.
Dope.
Just that part right there is cool as shit. They're mining all his
That's
brain
hardcore.
fluid
Yeah.
and bone marrow and all sorts of stuff like that. That's super, super rare because obviously you don't come across a celestial being every day. And you have to imagine, what do you think they're using the brain fluid for there, Andy?
Oh, cocktails.
Oh, cocktails.
Wow.
MT, do you have an answer?
I honestly think that this is going to come back in Guardians 3 with the High Evolutionary. Because like the High Evolutionary is all about evolving life like the Celestials were. And so like he's probably taking all of that fluid from nowhere and building that weird tentacle thing that we see in Guardians 3, which I think is going to be Super Ego. Which is because Super Ego looks a lot like that weird tentacle thing that we see in the trailer. But yeah, I think that celestial fluid is going to come back for sure.
I think mixing it in with like a vinaigrette dressing, sort of.
Like a light balsamic.
Yeah.
I think so. That makes sense. They head, of course, toward a casino because the collector has told them to wait as a negotiation tactic. And realistically, as a story tactic, it's just they can get to know each other a little more, have a little conflict. Of course, as they're heading in, another great Drax moment where he's like, "This place is a disrespectful place to be. I wouldn't be caught dead in this establishment." And then he walks, he's fucking hammered. We cut like an hour later, he's hammered, having a great time with these little like races.
the little dino fights
Yeah.
that were going
so
on.
good.
But yeah,
Yes.
I love that. Love the whole rocket stuff. Like again, such a great scene. But Nick, it was missing one thing, and it was the hit song "Dinosaur" from the Super Mario Brothers 1993 movie.
Open the
scene
door,
would
get
have
on
been
the
better.
Everybody rock the dinosaur, Tim.
Get on the floor.
Everybody rock the dinosaur.
This
He
should have
was a
been it.
dinosaur. So good. But we do get another as if I wasn't already in on this movie. I was like, this couldn't be better. We got a reference to Alyssa Milano. We've got a lot of great 80s references, a lot of great 80s and 70s music in this already. But then we get the scene. Pete and Gamora sitting on the balcony, talking to each other. And he says, he wants to dance a little bit. She's like, I'm not a dancer. He goes, we had a name for you. People like you, the people that didn't want to dance. And there's a hero that saved them. And that hero's name was Kevin Bacon. And as he's making her, as he puts the headphones on, and it's that song "Fooled Around and Fell in Love," and it's so good. And he moves in for the kiss, and she is not having any of his pelvic sorcery. She's like, I know guys like you. I've been with guys like you. You're not getting that easy. Great sequence, because you're like, oh, he's found her softer side, because this woman who's been tortured her whole life, and maybe he can bring that out. Nope, not gonna be that easy, Pete. She's not going to be another one of those pink ladies that just flies around your ship all the time.
Yeah, no.
Not going to happen. Let's see. Meanwhile, Groot and Drax.
Yeah, they just go for it with fucking Drax.
Green. Oh, she's like,
I was calling Peter a whore. I wasn't bringing
I
up.
thought
That's funny. That
I thought you were
line,
referencing that.
that line is great, though.
Let's see. Meanwhile, Groot and Drax get in a fight inside, of course, because they're calling Rocket vermin and things like that. And Rocket is drunk, and all of that past trauma is coming out. He's like, "You guys call me a little monster. I'm not a little monster."
Great performance.
Great performance. And then Kyrie.
Every time we got a moment like this, I was just like, I'm going to be emotionally devastated by Guardians 3. I can tell.
Oh man.
I always
Little chip
thought
damage through the first two, but
the way this moment is kind of the way the lines are sort of said in this moment where they're having this conflict and everybody's drunk and kind of pissed off at each other. I thought like, wow, he's telling right now to Rocket, 2 million credits, dude. We finished this. We're fucking rich. Like, just stay together for a little bit longer. Keep it together for a little bit longer. I thought, like, upon rewatching, I was like, I'm shocked. In most situations, there's always like somebody kind of listening.
Oh yeah,
2
like,
million credits.
2 billion credits.
Oh
whatever,
shit,
yeah.
we're
He'll
2
be
billion.
fine.
Yeah, we're gonna. This is our chance. Hey, did you hear these guys are talking about 2 billion credits? I kind of wish at this moment it was a bit more like, dude, it's fucking 2 million credits, dude. Shut the fuck up. Like I wish it was like a little bit more understated. But he's just like telling the whole bar like, we're about to be rich, dude. And I found that kind of odd. I don't know.
We'll skip. We won't skip anything. We'll keep going along here. Of course, Karina comes to fetch them. The collector's ready to meet them.
Karina.
We get in there. First thing we see right off the rip, not even an Easter egg, right? Just that damn Russian dog. Is it Cosmo?
Cosmo.
Hey, Cosmo.
It's hilarious. And he's just like,
MT, is
love
this
her.
the Easter egg? Is this the one?
Is this the one?
Is it Cosmo?
Yes, my favorite Easter egg.
Gotcha.
I love Cosmo so much.
Outside, of course, Drax is pissed off because all this they travel halfway across the galaxy and aren't anywhere closer to killing Ronan. So of course he sends a drunk text to Ronan like he's trying to get a booty call in the middle of the night. What's up, Andy?
I don't want to interrupt the show, so I'm going to give MT some time to think about this. I want your top 3 Easter eggs by the end of the show. Thank you very much.
Great.
Oh,
Andy,
okay.
I want to give you some time to think about this. I need a top 3 Easter egg song.
Okay.
Along with that for the podcast.
How this works. You'll get your own theme song, MT.
Of course, we get there and they're like, "What is so important about this freaking orb?" And he goes, "Oh, it's not an orb. The orb itself is just a carrying case for." And then we get the awesome explanation of the Infinity Stones, the 6 things that were once all got boiled down to these little stones, and that was all creation. And each one of them has a power. And this is one of them. It opens up, and you see the purple glowing stone of the Power Stone, right?
Yep.
Of course, Karina sees that and goes, "I'm gonna use this to blow everything up."
I just really want to like talk about how special this moment was because I remember it being in 2014. These movies were still on the rise. Like Avengers had happened 2 years prior and like wowed all of us, but that was the buildup of phase one. Let's get the team together. Oh my God, we actually got an Avengers movie. When Iron Man 1 happened, we get the post credits. I'm assembling a team. I lost my mind. I was like, I can't believe that we're going to get this. But I really couldn't believe it. Like, I did not think we would. And then we got Avengers, and it was as good as it was. And then it was like, what's next after this? And we start seeing the little teases and stuff. And as a comic reader, it was like, that might be one of the Infinity Stones. That might be one of the Infinity Stones. But even with the way the movies presented it, it might not have been. Because the colors and the Tesseract and the Mind Stone and all this stuff, it's like, it's not quite right. And even now knowing everything, like the colors from the comics do not align with the colors of the movies. So us fucking nerds are trying to break this down and figure it out. And it was just like, we think this is it, but what are they doing? And this movie just was like, hey, everybody, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're building to the goddamn Infinity War storyline. And it just felt so satisfying where it's like, it was a moment that all of a sudden, that feeling that Samuel L. Jackson gave us at the end of Iron Man 1, this movie was like, all right, strap in for Ant-Man, strap in for fucking all of the things. We're heading to Thanos. We're heading to the Infinity Gauntlet.
After everything blows up, everyone starts to freak out, like as Gamora puts the Infinity Stone back into the orb, and Rocket's like, "Whoa, you had that thing in your pocket? Like, get that thing out of here! What are we doing? We got to get out of here." Of course, Rocket wants to get away, but they're like, "No! We got to take this over to the Nova Corps so they can contain it. It's the only way we could possibly do that." But unfortunately, Drax's message was received. Ronan arrives with Nebula, and Yondu's there also. Ronan just straight up fucks up Drax. Not even a competition. This guy's just out of Drax's weight class. They take the space. There's a cool little space sequence here where they're.
I do want to say real quick that we kind of got this first line drop moment of the MCU that I want to call like the Raul Julia of like when Raul Julia in Street Fighter 2 is like
classic.
I killed a lot of people. To you, it was the worst day in the world for y'all, but to me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we all remember the Thanos line of like, I don't even know who you are in that moment. We got to give some shout out to Lee Pace in this moment of being like, I don't know who, like, I killed your family. I don't remember who the fuck they are. Sorry. Like, it's just another thing for me. And I love when I love when a villain does that. I think it's like one of the coolest, most badass things you can do.
And I also want to give a shout out too to the scene of like the Power Stone kind of like exploding and causing all the issues. It reminded me a lot of Rogue One when the Death Star like tested its power to destroy Jeddah, and it was like, oh shit, like this is just I forget the number, but like 1/16 of its full power or whatever. And just seeing how destroying this all was, like this like accidental Power Stone dropping on in nowhere, I just feel like did a really good job of setting the stakes of how powerful this thing actually potentially could be.
Fair enough.
Right.
They take the space within these cool little miner ships that don't have any guns, but they're indestructible. So they start ping-ponging off these the Kree ships and just going right through them. We cut them through them like Swiss cheese. The whole thing goes out into space, and unfortunately, Gamora's pod gets exploded. She is floating out into the vastness there. Ronan gets the orb. They bounce, and Pete and Rocket now have a decision to make. She's going to die out there unless someone saves her, and Pete decides, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice myself, but not before smartly calling in his position to Yondu, who knows he will, once he does that, will come immediately and try to snatch him up because he's pissed off. Pete goes out, puts the mask on her, and we get a great moment where it's like, this is kind of the moment where you're like, he's falling in love with her, right? Because he sees her, she comes awake, and you can't really see her eyes in the thing, but he's like dying. He's got that horrible, like, bloodshot eye look thing that's terrifying that you always see in space when people are out in space. And then, of course,
I expected like frozen Leia to be flying by in this moment.
Do you think that at one point they were like, what if he... No, okay. That's Mary Poppins it. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Wow, there it is.
Next week.
Next week. Let's see. Yondu comes, snatches him up. Rocket gives Drax shit, and then Drax breaks down. He's like, you know what? You're right. All of my anger, all of my rage, that was all just to cover my loss. I'm useless. Rocket tells Groot, look, here's our plan. Get a ship, get the hell out of here, get all the way across the galaxy for as long as we can, live for as long as we can until this Infinity Stone destroys everything, because it's only a matter of time. But Ronan has, over on the Ronan ship, Ronan's like, look, I got this thing now. I didn't know it was an Infinity Stone. I got it now, and fuck you, Thanos, basically. And Thanos is like, well, I don't know. You're not that powerful. He's like, well, I am. Or actually, one of his assistants is like, you can't double-cross Thanos. You're not that powerful. He's like, I am now, because now I've got this thing. Smashes it into his hammer and becomes like Super Ronan or whatever the name, whatever his comic book name would be. It's cool. I like that Ronan could just like grab it and push it in there because he's that powerful. Pretty dope. Let's see. Nebula, of course, is like, you really gonna kill my dad? I'm in.
Hey, Dad.
It's like, man, people are turning sides on this just left and right. It's like a soap opera. It's like one of those Real Housewives that Tim watched.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yondu gives Pete the same guilt spiel that he's been giving him for years, and Pete finally pushes back. He's like, "You didn't let people eat me. Normal people aren't supposed to eat other people." And you get this, I love the chemistry between him and Michael Rooker. They have a dad-son relationship. It is what it is.
And it's one that I didn't give enough credit. I was talking about loving Guardians 2 after watching 1 when we first did in review. And I remember one of my criticisms was the father-son stuff. I felt like really was like, all right, obvious in number 2. But in number 1, I was like, they didn't build it at all. I was fucking wrong. Like, it is so built. It's just a lot more kind of like...
It's subtle.
It's subtle. It's way more subtle. But like, there's just so many clear moments that like, yeah, there's history between
This moment is that moment, right? It's that moment of like, your mom telling you, like, I told you so many times, and then finally you'd be like, but you caused the problem to begin with, Mom. You know, like that back and forth when you become an adult, you're pushing back, and then you guys can get on a different level. I love it. And then, of course, he's like, look, Maroon's got this thing. If we put a plan together, we can go get it. It's going to be worth a lot of money, and that speaks to Yondu's heart, and, you know, in his pocketbook. And he's like, I love you, Pete. You're back on the team, but not before the ship gets a blast from outside. It's Rocket. He's put together the Hydra and Enforcer with Drax sitting on top of the ship. And he says, if you guys don't give Pete back in 5 seconds, we're going to blow you up. 4, 3, 2. And Pete's like, whoa, we figured it out. We're all good. Also, what was your plan there? If they weren't going to give us back, you're going to destroy us? It's like, well, yeah. Like, he's like, we're really thinking. He's like, you gave us the 5. You didn't even give him time to give us back. Great moment there. Let's see. Of course, then this is where the team comes together. We get the circle. This is the circle sequence, right? And there's so many great moments in this of just their insecurities and this and that. But Pete's like, look, we have an awesome opportunity right now. And for once in my life, we have an opportunity to give a shit. We have to go do this thing. We got to go fight Ronan and get this orb back, or else all of Xandar is going to be destroyed. And you actually care about this, because this is the first time in Pete's life he's actually cared about anything. And this might be the first time of his life that any of these people have had friends that could care about something. And of course, one by one, they all decide to come together, the last of which is Rocket, who stands up and says, now I'm standing. You happy? We're all standing.
So fucking good. Again, this is so great. It shows such an understanding of James Gunn, of superheroes, of superhero movies, and like how to subvert it, but like in a way that feels additive and not making fun of it and not thinking it's better than. It just really is like, no, we're doing our own thing here, showing reverence to Avengers and showing reverence to like so many of the other great movies we've had.
They hatch a plan. Pete's like, I got a plan. He's like, you got a plan? He's like, part of a plan. He's like, that's 12% of a plan, so more than 11%. And then, of course, Rocket's like, listen, there's one more thing we need to complete this plan. That guy's eye. And he's like, no, we don't need that. It's okay. And John C. Reilly.
Come on, I need it, man. I love that.
John C. Reilly back over on Xandar gets a message from Pete. Hey, Ronan is coming, and Hell's coming with him. And he reports that back to Nova Prime. And Nova Prime's like, do you trust him? And he goes, well, he says he might be an a-hole, but he's not 100% a dick. And she goes,
and I quote,
and I quote, his words, not mine. And she goes, okay, but do you trust me? He goes, you know what? Yeah, I do. I don't
know if anybody's 100% dick.
The Dark Aster arrives in the atmosphere, in the orbit of Xandar, and they begin the onslaught. Of course, Yondu and the Ravengers have all rallied up, and I love that the Ravengers here, like, they don't make a ton of. I don't think they make any reference to the fact that the Ravengers like are like a clan. They have a whole bunch of ships and a whole bunch of teams and a whole bunch of like little smaller groups within them that Yondu leads. But it's cool to see like the other ships, like the smaller ships there. Right? No. Or am I thinking that it doesn't matter? The Nova Corps, of course, joins in before long. And then as they do, Pete goes, yeah, they got my dick message.
So fun good. I think we might have skipped over the suit up scene. Cherry Bomb's playing.
Oh, we did.
They all do the slow-mo walk and all that. I mean, like, again, just fucking pure badass James Gunn greatness.
And like every
James
needle
Gunn
drop,
likes a good,
every
slow-mo.
needle drop's perfect in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And also, we keep talking about like how many cool things they created for this film that are now just like standard. But the whole idea of the hexagonal like kind of space shit of like
I
space
love that
travel
to get from point to
and
point.
the jump points, and getting the Nova Corps, the way that they all kind of link up and all that stuff that we first see the hints of in this scene. It's like, damn, man, like, this is cool as shit.
I missed one line that I wrote that I just have to go back. I know we're getting a bit long, but I got to go backwards. When Rocket starts laughing at him, he goes, "That's a fake laugh." He goes, "It's real." It's so funny. Oh man. Anyway, so it starts all happening, and of course, the idea is they're gonna blow a hole in their own ship, and they're gonna go in. As they do, they get in, and they see a platoon of soldiers there, and they just blow them all away. And that's when we get the line, "We're just like Kevin Bacon," and it's great. Now the team's on the Dark Aster, and they begin the assault. Of course, the plan is that Gamora has to go down, shut off the locking mechanism to Ronan's chamber upstairs, and then they're going to bring in the Hydron gun and blow him out of space and get the thing back right. Of course, Nova Prime orders his pilots to lock in and make a net to stop it. This is where I start thinking maybe there's a better way to defend your planet than by sacrificing all your pilots. But whatever. I digress.
I probably have the biggest issue with this as a tech because you got to assume as these soldiers, like, they're like, "Oh, we're doing the fucking net thing." I haven't done that exercise in 3 years. I don't even know how to.
That's a thing we do.
How often do we utilize this function on our?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They get aboard, and this is the first time we see sort of Groot's softer side. He releases a bunch of like these firefly-like
Beautiful
leaves, flora things into the atmosphere because it's dark in there.
I just picture real quick. I just picture them looking up on YouTube, like fucking net ship exercise. God, how do I do this? I don't remember tutorial. You look up
How to
tutorial.
link up with other ships.
How to tie a tie. Like,
and yeah, it's great. And this is where Drax kind of breaks it down. And he says, "I'm really grateful for you guys' friendship. Like grateful for your friendship, Peter, and for this rabbit, and then." For the, as he referred to her, I'm not even going to say it, but it's a great moment. She goes, "Hey, okay, how dare you there?" And then, of course, Nebula drops in and starts talking shit, and Drax shoots her with a rocket and says, "Nobody talks to my friends like that." Down on the surface, Yondu uses his whistle to kill some folks with his arrow, so we get that first scene there. Pay off in a second.
so
Badass
fucking
sequence.
good.
So rad.
And I mean, you're talking about like some of the dumbest motherfuckers that like just don't try to shoot him as he's making this thing.
Well, they don't know what's going on. They're like, "What the fuck is that thing?" They don't know.
But again, this is like alpha. The open alpha version of the cooler version in part 2.
Which
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So good.
Ronan orders his pilots to dive bomb the city below. Of course, Rocket comes to the rescue because the Nova Corps is busy with being just a completely useless net around the Dark Aster. And then we get it, man. We get the payoff from Act 1. Pete comes face to face with Korath, who goes, "Star-Lord," and Pete goes, "Finally."
It's the best. Man.
Great. And then we get another payoff where Drax kills someone and he goes, "Finger to the throat." Yes. He's like, "It's a metaphor." He's like, "All right, we're getting there."
Yeah, we're seeing all of them pop off
Yeah.
in this moment. We're seeing all of them do their thing and be utilized they're being used best, and I love this whole sequence.
Especially Groot.
Yeah.
Groot destroys like a whole hallway of bad guys.
And then what does he do at the end of it? Just a cute little smile.
Just a smile.
You
Like, I
smile.
did good.
Adorable.
Of course, Ronan uses the Power Stone to destroy the entire Nova Corps, and then Gamora beats Nebula downstairs and tries
Dual
to
planes of
kill her.
action. We're getting Star Wars here.
We're getting them all.
we're doing the like Star Wars at its best. Like we get the space fight, we get the like internal like family fight, we get all this stuff. But I also love the space stuff, like not being fully in space against a Death Star, but it's like protecting a planet, like kind of like a tower defense almost. And they get in the position where like they pull the ships up and put it like turn up, and they're shooting at the ships as they come back down towards them. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. Like this is very creative.
Very, very good.
Like I think that was like a reference to I'm blanking on that game, the space game
Like
where you
Space
shoot
Invaders?
aliens.
Or Space Invaders. Yeah.
Yeah, Space Invaders, exactly. I think that was like a direct reference to Space Invaders.
so
Asteroids
sick.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This whole sequence is really cool.
Gamora, of course, gets the door open.
And shout out also to just the assistant for Glenn Close, just tapping away on that fucking tablet. Who knows what she's Googling in that moment? She's just next to Glenn Close, fucking typing up a freaking storm.
trying to get a promotion. It's good. Gamora opens the door to Ronan's chamber, and Pete shoots him with the Hydron Enforcer. Unfortunately, it does not work. That Infinity Stone is just too darn powerful. Luckily, Rocket, to the rescue one more time, smashes the Milano into them, which incapacitates the Aster. And if I were one of the pilots left over from the Nova Corps, I might be like, mental note, could have done that.
Yeah.
One of us could have probably done that. Not all of us. We didn't all have to die. And then, of course, as the ship's going down and they have no other choice, they're all going to go down with it. And Groot decides to form a protective sphere around them with his own body. And Rocket just pleads with him not to do this because he's going to die. And all he says is, "We are Groot."
Groot. Oh my God.
Not Groot.
Oh my
Vin
God.
Diesel's best acting ever.
Vin fucking Diesel, man. He did that thousands of times in every language across the globe. All right?
Yep.
And he did it for us.
Yeah.
What a fucking moment,
Yeah.
man.
It's about family, Tim.
It's about family.
Our
everybody.
family. The team narrowly survives, of course, but unfortunately, Groot is kindling and has passed. Ronan, not dead either, walks out of the ashes and he says, "Behold, your guardians of the galaxy. What fruit have they wrought?" Rocket starts to subtly fix the enforcer over to the left, while Pete sees and gets it and goes, "Okay, he's going to need a distraction for a second." And there's no better distraction than a dance-off. Because, of course, again, for the third time, we're hearing Oochild play behind him. And so he starts breaking it down. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "It's a distraction." And then, of course, as he does that, they fire off the Hydra Enforcer. It blasts the hammer to smithereens. Pete dives for it, grabs it. And this sequence, this effect of his face coming off and all that shit
One of my
is
favorites.
so dope. And we get a wonderful, wonderful payoff because he can't contain the power. And Gamora reaches out and she says, "Pete, give me your hand."
God
Y'all
damn.
just hold hands.
Dude. MT.
I'm holding my hand.
Here for you, man.
Right?
Holding my
Holy
hand.
crap.
And
Holy
it hits,
crap.
it hits because you're like, "Oh shit," because we see the mom, right? But it doesn't really hit until she grabs his hand, Bautista grabs her hand, and then you see Rocket's little hand.
James Gunn calls this the Michelangelo moment. He was like, like one of the first moments I had in my mind writing this movie was Rocket reaching up to finish it off, being the little punk that didn't want to join the group,
Yeah.
but clearly did. But like this was like such a moment. But this whole scene is just so perfectly done. Groot sacrificing himself, the "We Are Groot" moment. We're already feeling emotionally like tarnished.
Yeah.
And then we get the callback to the dance joke, and it's brilliant. And we're cracking up, and it's so fucking good. We're not gonna have a crazy big final climax fight. No, it's a dance off. This is hilarious. This is perfect. And followed up with the "Take My Hand," the callback to his mom dying of cancer, the team confirming they are together, and it all comes down to, "You said it yourself, bitch. We're the guardians of the galaxy," with the music popping off at an all-time high.
Dude.
Woo!
There is just like the turn, and Tim, you can attest to this. When fucking Sting or Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels are on the ground and they're in a chokehold and they're struggling, you're like, wow, they're about to tap out of this wrestling match. And you see the hands start to raise. And that moment of them, they're all struggling, they're in pain. And then suddenly there's just a turn of them all like, "This is us now, and we are not in pain." Oh my God, it's so badass, dude.
So cool.
It's so cool.
Of course,
I'm very glad that Groot was dead at that point because he would have just went on
Fried.
fire. Yeah, just went
the forest
tree
fire.
on fire, burning bush.
Of course,
Fuck, like you can say more words.
He was like, "I was just playing."
I didn't know I had more words. It's painful.
as the stone, of course, powers down, they lock it back into one of the new like fandangled spheres that all of them have. We saw that they all had one just in case, which was cool. Smart little storytelling device earlier. And then Yondu catches them, and he's like, "Pete, gotta hand it over, or you know the deal. If you don't hand it over, you're gonna die." Of course, Pete's like, "Dude, you know how powerful this thing is. Do not open that because you've seen what it can do." And it's like great misdirection. At one point, he like passed it behind his back. I was like, "That's a little not subtle, but whatever. I get it. We know exactly what's gonna happen." Of course, Gamora's like, "Why would you do that?" It's like, "I gave him a different one. Don't worry about it." As they leave, of course, we see Kragan, who's talking to Yondu, and he says, "Quill turned out all right. Good thing we didn't deliver him his dad like we were supposed to, right?" He's like, "Yeah, good thing."
A little teeing up for
Little set it
Guardians
up.
too.
Ooh.
Of course, the Nova Corps tells Pete that he's half Terran, but he's also half something else. He's like, he's like, "You're something ancient we've never seen before. Your father must have been that. We don't really know what's going on. That's why you were able to hold the stone, which is cool."
Dude, honestly, I love this because
Yeah.
it's like as you're watching this movie, like any plot hole this thing has of just like how did he survive that? How is he out in space? How whatever? It's like, oh cool, yeah, they answered it here, like teed up for the future movie. But like even in this movie, like, oh yeah, he's not all human.
yeah, he's half.
Cool. It's all we really
Is
need.
Ego
to
a
know.
celestial?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right.
We'll see next week.
We'll see. Oh, no, it's future.
I also want to shout outs to the thing that he gave his like adoptive father, The inside had the little.
Oh, we're not
glass-
there yet. Yeah. So we cut over to that, and they're all partying on the Ravager, and then Yondu kind of looks at it. He just knows. He's like, God damn it. Opens it up, and what is it, Kevin?
It's a little glass frog, right?
No, it's a
No,
troll
it's a
doll.
troll.
The
It's a
ultimate
troll doll.
troll, dude.
He trolled
got
him. It's a troll
trolled
doll.
for real.
But instead of getting mad, and again, shout out to Michael Rooker, he just looks down at it and he smiles because he realizes he's like, I got another excuse to hang out with Pete. That's kind of what it is, right?
Come
Awesome.
on, man. It's
Great.
so good.
It's,
There's one scene we glossed past a little bit here, but Rocket being so sad, holding
Yeah.
Groot's dead fucking body, like pieces of it. Like, come the fuck on. How? Be still, my heart. Drax going down and petting Rocket on the head, and Rocket having that moment of like, get the fuck off me, but
And
then
then-
just being like, thank
All right,
you.
I need
Oh
this.
my
Yeah,
God,
it's
this
good.
movie's so
It's
good.
It's good.
I have a feeling that like after we all watch Guardians 3 and we rewatch the moment of like Rocket crying over Groot, it's gonna be like, oh my God, he's lost all of his friends at this point.
Oh.
Like he's lost his only other friend, so he's just sad. And like it's gonna hit a lot different after Guardians 3.
Yes.
Of course, the Nova Corps has given him a rebuilt Milano, right? And they're like, hey, don't steal anything anymore. We get a fun scene where Rocket's like, what if I really, really want something
Incredible.
that someone else has? He
All
goes,
of
no,
it.
that's stealing. And the
No,
Drax
no, but
like,
you don't get it. I really want
yeah,
it.
but I really want it. Okay, so I'm trying to have a conversation with the guy. This guy's not getting it. The Drax, of course, the 1-2 punch where he's like, what if I were to beat someone like to death? And he's like, well, that would be murder. That's the worst of all
And
crimes.
he just goes, he walks away.
Back
Duly
on the
noted.
ship, of course, Peter finally has the courage because now he has a support group and a family to open up the gift that his mom gave him on his deathbed. He starts with a note, and the note is very, very lovely. Of course, it ends with her referring to him as her little Star Lord.
Holy shit.
And he opens it
Could
up.
this movie get better? I don't know.
He opens it up, and it is an awesome mixtape volume 2.
It could get better, everybody.
Yeah.
So good.
Could.
It just
Everything.
did.
Just gets a nice, pretty little bow.
Yep.
This is where we cut over the ship, see the troll doll. Yondu smiles, and then meanwhile, the real stone is being locked away in a vault on Xandar, which I don't remember it staying there. Oh no, it does because
Oh, it does.
Thanos just like lays waste to it,
Destroys
right?
it.
Yeah.
We'll probably see eventually in a Nova something or other.
Fingers
movie.
crossed.
Yeah.
Also, we get a little baby Groot here. This is where we see that. A little baby Groot's
beginning.
growing back. We're like, oh, that's great. And then he asks the team, what should we do next? Something good, something bad, or a little bit of both? And she says, we'll follow your lead, Star-Lord. He goes, a bit of both. And then we get a fun little sequence here with Michael Jackson playing and baby Groot dancing.
Dude.
And that's it.
It hits with like
Guardians.
this. We get the Guardians of the Galaxy will return like before the credits even. I
Yeah.
love that. That's the confidence there.
They knew what they had.
We fucking got this, and you guys are gonna be there when we return, and we
Right.
have been. Like to think about this, like the Guardians have now returned multiple times. Like this group of people have been in what 5 movies or specials or whatever at this point. Like that's pretty goddamn impressive.
Pretty cool. Of course,
6.
we don't get a mid-credit sequence here, right? We haven't started those quite yet, or maybe that wasn't like in vogue yet. But we do get a post-credit sequence.
Yes, exactly.
Which, of course, is the Collector and Howard the Duck sipping margs while Cosmo the dog just looks at him.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Gotta love it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. What a film. So we originally ranked for RaGu BaGu, which let's hit it.
RaGu BaGu. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys here for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tim, you want me to say all 74 of them?
No, definitely not. So we ranked the bad guys in the MCU. So trying to see where
I think we ranked Ronan really low. I don't remember him being a very high
I mean, because like that's
he
the
kind of
thing. It's like let's talk about like MC. What do you think of Ronan as a bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy?
I think that at the time that Guardians 1 came out, like he wasn't really all that of a fleshed out villain. However, I feel like after the Marvels, when we see more of that his backstory detailed and like in that past gripe that he has with his Xandarians potentially like explored, I feel like we'll then appreciate Ronan a lot more. But like as like if I'm talking about like myself in 2014, yeah, like he's an all right villain. Like I feel like they could have done a lot better, but like, you know, I think Lee Pace did a great job.
Yeah,
I agree.
I totally agree. It is interesting though with how our rankings work. Since there are so many villains in the MCU, we end up tiering them from A tier all the way down to, or from S tier all the way down to F tier. And Ronan comes in at number 45 on our list in the F tier category.
Yeah, he's not great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Underneath, cross from Ant-Man, but above It doesn't matter from Deadpool 2 because we didn't even remember who the fuck. Do you remember who the bad guys were in Deadpool 2, MT?
Wasn't it? Wait, it was a cleaning product. It was. Wait, no, wait. Wasn't
Gina Carano one of them?
Deadpool 2. Ajax was in Deadpool 1. Deadpool 2 was.
What was Gina Carano's character?
I don't remember.
I haven't watched
forget her
Deadpool 2
name
since we
at
saw it in
all.
theaters on a real small
Wow.
screen.
God damn
thanks
it!
to-
I was like, if Andy fucking mentions the size of the movie theater screen for that,
Oh, it was
I'm-
Cable. It was.
Oh,
Yeah. But like, then he was a good
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, the kid?
it was the
It was
Essex
Cable and that
school.
little kid.
The
That
Essex
little kid
school
with the
thing.
fire powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid from the Wildebeest.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy, it
Right.
was too hard to see.
It was hard.
We
And
couldn't
Juggernaut.
tell. The screen was
Yeah,
Really tough.
yeah. But anyways, I you know,
the
whatever.
worst human beings.
That seems harsh for this, but also I think it is what it is. Like the bad guys aren't the point of this movie, but there's enough going on that I don't think it really needed like an amazing bad guy to like work.
I'll say this, and also the way when we rank these bad guys, it's not only like how badass were they at being a bad guy, what were their motivations, but also sometimes like, hey, maybe the motivations were great, but goddamn, that performance by so-and-so actor was incredible. And I don't feel like Lee Pace was anything like extraordinary to kind of bring up the badassery, which was kind of not super existent through a lot of it. He
didn't
did
give him a
crush
lot
a
to
dude's
work
skull. Yeah, he didn't have a lot to do. You're right.
He's very like comic book villain 1.0, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he brings a ton of
Right.
dimension to this character. I think he kind of hams it up a little bit too much here and there.
Yeah, I would definitely say his best scene was his fight with Drax, and
Yeah.
then like it sort of just peters down from there, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah,
Chris said her name is Angel, Nick, but that's the wrong movie. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Oh, Gina Carano's character.
Oh,
I must have been talking Deadpool 1.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or maybe not. I don't even know.
I don't know. But I want to look at the MCU rankings that we have now. MT, I'm going to warn you right now. Whenever guests
Okay.
see our rankings of any franchise for the first time, they are wowed. They are like, that is the worst list I've ever seen. But we are a democracy here. We have a voting process, and this is the list that came out of that process. So currently, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming in at number 13.
Okay.
Which like is lower than I feel like it should be, but also you start looking at these movies, there's a lot of really damn good ones. So I'm gonna read 1 to 15 for y'all, just so you know. Number 1, Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
2, Avengers Infinity War. 3, Spider-Man No Way Home. 4, Spider-Man Homecoming. 5, Captain America Civil War. 6, Thor Ragnarok. 7, Captain America The Winter Soldier. 8, Guardians 2. 9, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, 10, Loki, 11, WandaVision, 12, Avengers, and 13, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 14, Shang-Chi, 15, Thor, Love, and Thunder. That's the one that I think we're going to regret the most overall about its placement. But hey.
I like that you preface it like anytime we show a guest, we hate this list, as if each individual person also doesn't hate this list.
I just need to like let everyone understand it's how it
Look,
goes.
man,
Listen, Winter Soldier is too low, and Love and Thunder is too high. That's all I'll say.
Look, Love Thunder made me laugh a whole lot, you know? I came out of that theater being like, this movie not great, but I laughed a lot.
I pushed for 15.
Too many goats.
I was just thinking too,
goats
you know what?
worked.
You know why I had Love and Thunder so high? I blame myself, honestly, for this. It's just every joke of Mjolnir being jealous of Stormbreaker. And like,
I
it was
did
just
love
the
that.
funniest
I love those
fucking bit.
bro.
It's the
Everybody
funniest
was
the best
dead.
bit.
We're
part
all
of this
dead
movie.
inside. That shit was hilarious.
It was funny. It was very funny.
The goats worked.
But how do we
goats
feel
are
about
too much.
Guardians placement on this one? Guardians 1.
I think it's right. I think that 13's good. I mean, you look at the top 10 list, I don't know that it's breaking that. I'm not a huge fan of putting the movies over the TV shows, even though the TV shows hit. But I might, if we were to rank this now, I'd probably want Guardians at 10. I'd probably kick that up to 10.
Over Avengers?
Yeah, maybe. Because you go back and watch Avengers, and you remember Avengers with, rose-colored glasses a little bit. It's a good movie, but Guardians is like, it's just very well made. It hits. There's no fat. It is just a very well paced, very funny when it needs
Very
to be
lead
subtle
paced.
movie. Yeah.
I will say this when it comes to Guardians. We have Chris Anka in the chat who says like switch part 1 and part 2. I think part 2 is so strong for me because not only is it really good throughout. I mean, well, it's not. I don't want to review 2 right now, but it's just like in the way that Up starts incredibly strong, and that's kind of what we remember Up for. Guardians 2 ends incredibly strong, and that's what I remember
Mary Poppins.
Right.
Guardians
With you,
for.
man.
Yeah,
I can't wait for next week to see because me with Guardians, I'm so high on this rewatch of Guardians 1 that I definitely feel like it deserves top 10, debatably even top 5 overall. But we're talking about movies that I love so much that it's hard. I don't think that this is that wrong.
It's any given Sunday, Tim.
Yeah,
Right.
but I will. The thing I'm most excited for personally is next week, knowing if I rank 1 over 2.
That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. It'll be fun.
MT, I want to ask you, what are your, and you don't need to like make this like an official thing, but what would you think your like top 3 MCU movies are?
That's a good question. Well, definitely Winter Soldier is up there for sure because I love Winter Soldier to death. I also I would say Guardians 1 is definitely up there as a number 2 because that just means a lot to me on a personal level. Like I literally would not have my job without the Guardians 1 Easter egg hunt. So like definitely Guardians 1. And oh my god, top 3? This is so tough. I would also say, and this is gonna kind of be controversial, but I really liked Ant-Man 2. A lot of people did not like Ant-Man 2 a lot. I know it's very controversial, but like I just feel like that movie had a lot of really fun. So I'm a big fan of Scott and Little Cassie's dynamic. I just love Scott. I love how what's his name says Scott. Why am I blanking on him?
Michael Douglas?
The doctor.
Andy just-
Michael Douglas. Yes.
Andy, give him the whole thing.
It's Scott. Scott, you have to use the and, Scott. I won't give him the whole thing.
Hey, how do you get throat cancer again?
Oh God.
But like I really do like. Actually, no. Okay, I'm not gonna put Ant-Man 2. It's Age of Ultron, and I know.
Oh.
But like I really like Ultron's depiction. Like there's a lot of like really good writing in that movie, even though not the best director. But like it's I just like a lot of like the god imagery and the god talk from Ultron. It's very, very like layered dialogue writing because like he basically like thinks of himself as a god, like a robot god. And like just rewatching Age of Ultron and like just like thinking about the dialogue on a deeper level just really makes me love that film a whole lot. So I would say those 3.
Whenever we talk about a lot of the villains and a lot of these kind of there's a lot of characters we get really sad whenever it's like, well, that character's dead, and so is that actor's presence, because damn, they were good. Like, I would have loved if we could have James Spader and like 10 more.
James Spader was
he's
so
just
freaking
so
good.
fucking good, man. And we feel
So
that about
amazing.
a lot of different people in the MCU. We're like, damn it, now, like, I loved Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, and it's like, oh, well,
10
maybe
out
we'll
of
see
10.
him. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so damn good.
Now, Andy, I gave you 30 minutes to figure out a song.
Yeah.
You have it?
Now, MT, I gave you 30 minutes to think of a top 3 Easter eggs. Do you have it?
I do have. I wrote some of my
Okay,
hand.
perfect.
I was like, oh my god, I gotta think
Perfect.
of some. Okay,
I have the theme
3.
song. One sec. I gotta introduce you with your
Okay.
very own brand new theme song. They're hiding, so he's finding all the Easter eggs.
Yeah. Play that at my funeral, honestly. No, okay. Okay, my first Easter egg is that the bar that they go to and nowhere is called the Boot of Jemiah. And Jemiah is, of course, a celestial. Jemiah the Analyzer, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like, all the locations in nowhere seem to be named after celestials. I think, like, the communications tower that Drax go to is called Exitar, if I'm not mistaken, which is Exitar the Executioner, which is also celestial. But anyway, but speaking of this bar, that when Drax and Rocket and Groot are like watching those animals fight, one of those animals is actually that fuzzy creature from Guardians 3. I forget the name. Is it the Fazaz or something? But like that weird multiple-eared fuzzy creature that we see in the previous Guardians 3 is that's a hairless version of that is what they're watching fight in Guardians 1, which is I thought was hilarious. It's quite terrifying because it looks very ugly in Guardians 1 and a lot more adorable in Guardians 3. And my last Easter egg is that, okay, speaking of that Nova ship connecting thingy, this is not really confirmed, but like in my Easter egg hunting madness, I realized that was most likely a reference to Rom Space Knight. When because like in
Mask
I believe
and
that
Rom, dude.
Rom's
Rom
What
the
was
Space
that?
Knight.
Which one was Rom the Space Knight?
Rom is like Mask and all that stuff, right? Like they're all connected. Rom and Mask and Micronauts, Transformers.
Oh, okay.
Like they're owned by Hasbro.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
they're
That's
all
what I was like,
Hasbro
wait, you can't be
companies.
talking about Mask like the toy, the cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Sorry.
But
sorry.
Marvel used to. No, it's okay. Marvel used to write the ROM comic books, and like in the origins for the ROM story against these dark beings called, I forgot what they were called, the Dark Wings. Anyway, basically they all link up their ships in a very similar way to the way that they did in the Nova Corps. And knowing that James Gunn is a huge fan of ROM Space Knight, I was like, that cannot be a coincidence. I feel like he definitely did that in response to him loving ROM growing up.
And
So,
isn't that one of those
yeah.
weird things where ROM is one of the weird technicalities that is owned by Marvel, but they don't have the film rights, so James can't use him in the movies or something?
Yeah, so like Hasbro owns ROM, but like, you know, they had to deal with Marvel back in the day to make the Marvel comic based off of ROM, but like now that Hasbro took back ROM, they can't use basically most of the stuff that ROM was doing in the MCU. I mean, in the Marvel comics universe rather. So yeah, like there's a whole Space Knight planet in Marvel that they can't use.
Oh,
And I
shit.
think that planet is
Damn.
so freaking rad. It's called Galador, and it's like the coolest freaking planet in the Marvel Comics universe, in my opinion. It's a bunch of robot space people. It's basically a bunch of Mega Mans on a planet.
awesome.
Like I want that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so badly. It's so cool. But yeah, those
Very
are my
cool.
3 Easter eggs.
They were hiding, so he's finding all those Easter eggs.
All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Gotta love it, everybody. This was such a blast. Remember, this is Kind of Funny's in review. Next week, we will be doing the rewatch for Guardians 2. And then, of course, the week after that, we will be doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We're, I don't want to promise anything, but the plan right now is to, of course, do the in review for Volume 3 for sure. But we're also going to try to do a spoiler-free review of Guardians 3.
Screencast style thing?
Screencast style thing, hopefully, in addition to, with maybe a different cast. I think I'm going to try to get Joe on that one as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun for everybody involved. MT, thank you so much for joining us. I'm happy we finally got to get you on some Kind of Funny content. Can't wait to get you actually in the room, on the desk. But until then, where can people find you?
You can find me on New Rockstars primarily. That's my home where I do all my weird theories. NewRockstars.com, YouTube.com/New Rockstars. But mostly I am on Twitter at Mastertainment, where I talk about a bunch of weird theories and post a lot of weird shit. So you guys can follow me there at Mastertainment.
Yeah, definitely do that. He is incredible, the best in the biz when it comes to this stuff. So go support him. Go
Oh,
support New
thank you.
Rockstar.
And those links will be in the description.
Exactly. Definitely check the description for all of that. But until next time.
Have a marvelous day.
Hey.